Today is an honor to be at New York City at the biggest show this year, Ring of Honor Anniversary Show. And today, we at New York City, my hometown, the Hit Squad's hometown, and Low Key's hometown. CORINO, I feel sorry for you. You talking about all this stuff, that you got your crew, you got new members coming in? Well, I got my gang of thugs out there too. I could have been #1 contender for that Ring of Honor. Because you, it's a good thing though, because you're going to the hospital tonight. I guarantee you this. You ain't going to Pennsylvania tonight. Bring your thugs, because I got my crew out there.
We have a very tense situation right here.
This crowd's about ready to erupt. Homicide just nailed Steve CORINO with the microphone.
And we are underway here in this grudge match. And what intensity we have here. It's all on the line. Homicide trying to start out quick. CORINO blocking a Mafia kick, going for that Cobra Sleeper's new finish. And there's a Mafia kick by Homicide. Down goes CORINO. And we are underway here. The format for this segment completely thrown out the window. CORINO saying, hey, I'm not going to be controlled. I do what I want to do. I book who I want to book. I'm that much of a superstar that I can do that. Beautiful T-bone by Homicide. CORINO now, what a group. C.W. Anderson, Michael Shane, Samoa Joe, Simply Luscious, and Steve CORINO, and they are going after all the titles held right now by the Prophecy. But right now, Steve CORINO faced with a very angry Homicide and a very hostile New York City crowd. Homicide going for that SDF. He's used that to get victories before. There you see Samoa Joe. Homicide actually 1-0 against Samoa Joe, having won that match. And real quick, why don't you tell us the history between Steve CORINO and Homicide there, Ray?
Let me tell you what, the history all started at Glory by Honor when Steve CORINO made his in-ring debut as he teamed with Homicide against CZW's own Backseat Boys. Now, during that match, Homicide and CORINO had victory in their hand, but CORINO super kicked, or did he forearm? He forearmed Homicide in face, causing Homicide.
I super kicked him after Homicide accidentally super forearmed him. CORINO saying it's not an accident. Then, believe it or not, Final Battle 2002, CORINO called out Homicide, called him a disrespectful young boy, of all things, and then later in the night, entering Homicide, taking him out of that four-way where Homicide had a chance to win the #1 Contenders Trophy and actually get a title shot right here in Queens tonight. So we got quite an issue. Of course, Homicide snapped. It was at All-Star Extravaganza when he forked CORINO in the eye in the locker room, almost taking out CORINO's eye. So we have quite an intense issue here between Steve CORINO and Homicide. CORINO calling his own shots. He's saying he can. And look at this group. I mean, when you're dealing with these kind of athletes, you're dealing with these guys. They can make demands. They can have some power, similar to the way the Click was in WWF back in the day. Because what are you going to do? Fire all these guys? CORINO can just take everyone to 0-1 if he wants.
And speaking of issues, there's a big issue now between Steve CORINO and Chris Daniels. And later on this videotape, we do have a video promo with Chris Daniels speaking out against Steve CORINO.
Well, the fourth shot hasn't been fired between CORINO's group and the Prophecy yet. It's only a matter of time till it happens, and that's going to be a war in itself. But right now, CORINO's got his own war. Look at the New York crowd. They're letting C.W. Anderson know what they think, and tell C.W. I wouldn't mind seeing one of those fans take a shot at him. I can't believe C.W. Anderson back in Ring of Honor. He's got no place here.
None at all, none at all. And Steve CORINO now has the upper hand on Homicide.
I hate C.W. Anderson. C.W. Anderson is just and he's an asshole. In fact, this whole group is. They have no spot. I mean, these guys just gotta, Ray, just take it away.
Well, obviously this group has no right to be here in Ring of Honor because they're just causing incredible turmoil here as Steve CORINO is working on Homicide now as he whips Homicide into the corner. And CORINO going, and Homicide.
Drop toe hold into the turnbuckle.
And he's going for the face wash now. And Homicide is going to inflict some punishment right now to the face of Steve CORINO. A big knee to the head.
And CORINO is down. What an emotional night this has to be for Homicide. He's wrestled in the Elks Lodge many times, but never in front of a crowd like this and never for Ring of Honor. And this is a huge, huge match in Homicide's career. CORINO, he denied Homicide a spot at Final Battle 2002, that four-way for the #1 Contenders Trophy, which would have been the biggest match of Homicide's career. So Homicide, he's going to put a beat on CORINO here, missing that Hurricanrana from the top rope.
CORINO held on to the top rope there, and Homicide felt it as he delivers a big bulldog from the second rope. He has him. No. 2 3/4. Steve Corino could not put Homicide down.
And I tell you what, as much as I hate to admit it, this is such a talented group Steve Corino has assembled here, and they are capable of holding on the titles. And can you imagine what they'll be like then? How much power they'll have in this company? Because if you have all the power, I mean, if you have the titles, you have the power. That's what Chris Daniels has said time and time again.
And look, Samoa Joe now picking a fight with another group of fans here. What is going to happen here? This crowd is really about to erupt. This is a serious situation here.
It is just ugly, hostile, and unruly in this building right now. You can't describe the atmosphere watching it on TV, and it's such a shame. We've had that great opening match, Return of the Christopher Street Connection, that emotional battle between the Briscoes, and things have just gotten ugly here, as there's an ace crusher by Homicide.
And Steve Corino is feeling a lot of punishment. Homicide going for the cover here, but he kicks out.
And just shut up. Shut up. He's got no place here at all.
And Homicide gives him the bird right there. As Homicide now with a big chop to the chest of Steve Corino. He has Corino now in the corner. Big headbutt to Corino. And Homicide, I know he wants to win this match, but I think he also wants to hurt Steve Corino as well, because Steve Corino has been nothing but a thorn in Homicide's side for about the last 6 months.
It all started at Glory by Honor, and it all started because of Steve Corino's ego, because he just couldn't take it, costing Homicide that match against the Backseat Boys. The Backseat Boys walking into Ring of Honor's own house and winning because of Steve Corino. This guy is just in it for himself. He's in it for his own glory. A huge star in the 0-1 promotion in Japan, the hottest promotion in Japan right now, and he's let all that publicity he's gotten there, the magazine covers, everything else, he's let it get to his head. And Paul Turner, nope.
Yeah, good job there.
What's Ronnie Stevens doing? Paul Turner showing Homicide is just a 2 count. Grudge match here, no code of honor. This isn't about athleticism. This isn't about sportsmanship. This isn't about respect. This is about hurting your opponent. Oh, Homicide fighting back now. Reverses it. Reverse DDT.
Oh, but the referee
catching Corino's boot, inadvertently catching ref Paul Turner in the stomach, I believe, or maybe even a little lower. Paul Turner down. And once again, this mood in this building getting even more hostile. And what's Homicide doing? He's got a, wow, Shining Wizard off referee Paul Turner's back. He's got a cover. We got a count. I don't think it would have been enough to get him, but hold on, here it is. No, just a 2. It's going to take more than that to defeat Steve Corino, as this match has just been extremely fast-paced, back and forth. And just words cannot describe the mood in this building right now. Steve Corino, and look at Samoa Joe. You see him in the background there, jawing with those fans. And these guys aren't backing down. The New York fans aren't backing down.
These New York fans are definitely behind Homicide.
And Homicide sends Corino out of the ring. This one's going to the floor. And look at Joe. One thing about this group is that the Corino's group, they do uphold the code of honor. They're not going to interfere in the matches. They're not like the Prophecy where they're against the code of honor. They're just about proving that they're the best. They're just about having those egos. As Homicide with a chair to Steve Corino.
That's right. They uphold the code of honor. That's why Samoa Joe is not attacking Homicide at this point.
You know what the thing is, though, is that you can say that they uphold the code of honor, and they say that they're that.
Lucky this is Ring of Honor.
And Samoa Joe telling him right there, you know what? They can back up everything they say. That's the whole thing. Who's going to beat these guys? Because they are that good. They can back up what they say. And what's Homicide signaling for? Maybe that tope con hilo. Corino's just in a chair. And he moved! Homicide just, look at that chair. Homicide just destroyed that chair. He landed on nothing right there. He's got to be hurt after that.
He might have destroyed his knee as well as that chair. And look at the members of this group. They're just taunting Homicide, as he has definitely got to be in excruciating pain, as he just landed on the concrete going through that chair. Unbelievable.
There you see C.W. Anderson joined with that member of ROH management, being told he's not booked here, but I guess Steve Corino just booked him himself in Ring of Honor, and a lot of bad feelings there. I can't even say it, and you know what, C.W. Anderson is not booked here. It is Steve Corino that brought him in.
And I love you, these guys are picking fights with the wrestlers, they're picking fights with the management, they're picking fights with the fan. These guys are, this is unbelievable. They might uphold the code of honor, but this might even be worse than the prophecy what they're doing.
I think we got a situation on our hands, though, because Homicide is out. Homicide with that tope con heel, landing on a chair and nothing else. That hard floor, that guardrail, all getting a piece of Homicide. And Homicide is just dead weight. He is out. I think we have a serious situation. And look at CORINO. He's got no concern if he's injured. He's just dragging him back into the ring. And Homicide is such dead weight that they need help to drag him into the ring. This isn't outside interference. This is helping a man into the ring. Homicide is out. He is hurt. He is hurt after that tope con heel. New York's own Homicide injured in that ring, and this is going to be it.
No, he kicks out.
A kick out by Homicide, and I think Homicide's got to win this one because I don't want to know. This mood in the building cannot get any more hostile than it is now, and if Homicide loses to Steve CORINO, it is. And listen to that crowd.
This crowd is definitely behind our hometown guy, Homicide, right here, and Steve CORINO can't believe that he just kicked out.
And Homicide needs that support by the crowd. It's the only thing that's keeping him going right now. Old school expulsion! Old school expulsion, that's it!
No, he kicks out! I can't believe it!
Homicide kicking out. It's with that support of his New York City crowd behind him that he's able to kick out.
Steve CORINO looks frustrated here. What's he going to come up with next?
And Homicide is just dead weight. How much longer can he hang on for? He is totally dead weight right here. Steve CORINO not sure what he can do next. Maybe that Cobra Sleeper. That's what I got to be thinking that he would be going for if I'm Steve CORINO, as he's just got this group. And what a feather in the cap of Steve CORINO would be to defeat Homicide right here in Queens, New York.
What's he going for? Homicide fighting back with what little energy he has left. He's got to fire up because it's almost over if Steve CORINO hits something big on him too.
He is dead weight. He is hurt.
He's going for a suplex. No!
Northern Lights bomb. And this is it.
And where is he coming up with the energy to kick out?
Homicide has survived that brutal tope con heel that he missed to the floor. He survived the old school expulsion. He survived that Northern Lights bomb. What next does Steve CORINO have? Maybe that Cobra Sleeper as Homicide is out. Homicide is hurt. He is using every bit of his heart to hang on. And there it is, that Cobra Sleeper. And I don't see Homicide being able to hang on in this one. And look, he is crawling towards the rope, so if CORINO doesn't finish him off with this, nothing's going to work. As Homicide trying for those ropes, he is just dead weight, but he is just dragging himself every last bit of energy. And look at Ronnie Stevens taunting him. And he's close. He's close to the ropes. And I think, he's going to get a call on Homicide. He's got it.
The ropes. Homicide fighting for his life right here in the Elks Lodge in Queens, New York. And look at Steve CORINO take a look up to the fans. There's a lot of hostility in this building.
That is a look.
And he's got it again. He's going for another sleeper. And look at him wrenching it in.
He's got the Cobra Sleeper, and Homicide's away from this. He's turned him over. He's got those legs wrapped around him, making it that much tougher for Homicide to reach those ropes to get out of this hold. And that arm's down. One time.
Hold on, Homicide. Hold on.
One more time, and this match is over. If that arm falls, it's up, it's up, it's up, it's up.
Oh. And that's it.
Steve CORINO defeating Homicide. That fall to the floor that Homicide took was just too much. I think we got to get some medical personnel out there. He is really hurt.
What incredible courage by Homicide there.
This crowd, they're just stunned. This crowd is stunned, and you might not be able to put on your TV screen, but this is just an ugly scene right here in this ring right now.
Look at mocking Homicide by jumping on his attire right there. Look at Michael Shane with Homicide's, and come on.
That's a New York jersey, and look, they are taunting everybody. They're saying, hey, we say we're that good, and we just back it up. What are you going to do about it? That's what they're saying to this crowd, basically, with these actions. They could just be heading to the locker room right now and let Homicide get the medical attention. Hold on, CORINO's got the Cobra Sleeper on him again. He's going to end his career.
Enough is enough.
CORINO, we need some help here. And
Wait.
Wait. The crowd is rushing the guardrail. And the Atlas security there, they're trying to hold him back. Oh my God, this is just getting too much.
Joe wants a piece of him.
Do not taunt them. Just get out of the ring and get the Panther over the guardrail.
Oh, wait a second, what's going on the other side?
Another fan jumped and Homicide stopping to the Panther over the guardrail. And then we got CORINO's group. They're just putting the boots to Homicide right now. Oh my God. Oh my God, what a situation. Oh my God, we have lost control.
We have ultimate chaos here in the Elks Lodges. Everybody's fighting everybody. I can't believe the way that the New York fans are torn. They have so much pride. They could not take it anymore, and they just hopped the rail here in Queens.
Homicide stopping that one fan from maybe jumping CORINO because, I mean, you can't have fans in the ring under any circumstances, but other fans coming in. Look at Joe. Look at Joe.
He's going with that big guy right there.
Joe going after the biggest fan that he can find and just pummeling him and taking him to the ground. And then you see Michael Shane with somebody, CW, and look at Joe. He took the biggest fan down, and look at that guy just covering up.
I've seen some tense moments in professional wrestling, but this is off the charts. I have never seen anything like this in my life.
This is at the locker room's empty.
Cornish crew are out there. Everybody's out there.
There's too many fans over the railing. The locker room is empty because this is what happened. Oh my God, we have such an ugly scene here. The cameraman bailing out.
Throw storylines out the window. Loki's out there. Everybody's out there. Everybody is fighting everybody.
And look at CORINO. He's trying to run away. He's the one who started all this. The Hit Squad are out there. Joe pummeling that fan. The Christopher Street connection.
The Hit Squad, Easy Money, Chad Collier, all out there.
They are trying to regain control of this ringside area with the fan. You know, if you're a fan, you cannot jump the railing. This is what happens. And
Buffy, look at that. What was that?
Buffy nailing this guy, and he's got a shoe on. And look at DeVito taking his jab.
That guy's double his size.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a total loss of control right now. And we got another fan down on that side. We got managements out there. The Hit Squad, and they are just pummeling that other guy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a complete loss of control right here. I don't even know how to call this.
I don't know what to say. I really do not know what to say. And look what's going on here.
And there you see Atlas are trying to keep that one guy back. The crowd not even sure what they're saying. And hold on, why is Homicide keeping Loki from attacking that one guy?
I have no idea.
Why would Homicide keep Loki from attacking that one fan? And I can't believe it. The wrestlers, the boys are just out there swinging at whoever they see over the guardrail that they don't recognize. Complete mayhem. And ladies and gentlemen, this is... Joe is going nuts. Who's going to stop Samoa Joe? As we got some mayhem going on that side. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you watch the show. You don't try to jump the guardrail, because it leads to situations like this. Kayfabe means nothing. Everyone's going to empty. Guillotine LeGrand out there. He just came with Steve CORINO to the show. And look at Lo. There's that big guy getting choked out. Unbelievable.
Everybody is fighting everybody. This is insane.
I don't even know what we're seeing right here. As we got another brawl going on. There's just brawls going on everywhere in this place. C.W. Anderson, he's not sure. Maybe. And there's a fan of C.W. going out at the Atlas security guard trying to separate them. And they got that big
guy again.
And we just got to get out of here. And let the situation take care of itself. I can't believe it. Let's just hope the show isn't ruined. And look at Loke.
We'll be back.
Come back, you piece of shit! Fuck you!
You see Julius Smoke, straight name J-Train. There you see that handshake by Homicide and CM Punk. As I was saying, CM Punk, very impressive with wins over Colt Cabana before he joined the Second City Saints with him. Michael Shane, C.W. Anderson, that bloodbath against Raven and Boston, that unexpected. And Homicide going for the quick one with the STF. And of course, he went to that no contest with B.J. Whitmer at Epic Encounter after that German suplex through the floor.
When I grab this rope, are you retarded?
And what a shocker. Lucy here now in Ring of Honor. Of course, we saw her in WCW. She was known as Daphne then. And unannounced, unsurprised. CM Punk obviously knowing Raven's going to be pulling more shenanigans, expecting to get jumped like Trinity tried to jump the Second City Saints on April 12th. And I guess he was ready for it. I mean, CM Punk, this guy's a master of mind games, one step ahead of things right here.
He's definitely a thinking man's wrestler. He's thinking of anything he's counteracting anything that could be thrown against him by Raven. And these guys locking it up here in the ring. A lot on the line here, Chris. The #1 contenders trophy is on the line.
Yep, we'll get to that in a second, but I just want to say one more thing. That Raven-CM Punk feud is definitely becoming the feud of the year very quickly. Those matches that they've had against each other have been great, but there's been so much heat between them. There you see Lucy. I like those golf chicks, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, how you doing?
But there you see CM Punk. He leads that straight edge lifestyle, drug and alcohol free. Of course, Raven, he's got that lifestyle of drugs and debauchery. You just have to watch a shoot interview from our video for proof of that. Check those out at rvideo.com or by calling 215-891-9404. As you see, a nice exchange by CM Punk and Homicide. But that war between CM Punk and Raven and ROH original feud, their very first match was in Ring of Honor. It started in Ring of Honor, and now it's just going to take shape and explode over the course of the summer, I feel.
You're right there, Chris. Things are just coming to a boiling point here in ROH.
Homicide, he's in the middle of that feud with Steve Corino in the group. Of course, ROH World Champion Samoa Joe, a member of the group. And the winner of this line, or excuse me, the winner of this one, they got it all on the line because they'll be taking on the winner of the Samoa Joe Doug Williams ROH title match later on tonight on May 31st. As you see CM Punk cinching in that arm right there. And all on the line right here. The winner of this one gets that trophy. They get that title shot on May 31st.
And Punk follows up again, keeps a hold of the arm. And Homicide's in a little bit of trouble here.
Yep, and of course, in order to make the most money, in order to be the top man in Ring of Honor, you got to hold that Ring of Honor title belt. And the only way to do that is get that #1 contenders trophy that's on the line here. And you better believe the winner of this one's going to be keeping a close eye on that Samoa Joe Doug Williams match later on tonight.
Nice chop there by Homicide as he has Punk. It's a follow through with a big forearm.
Nice T-bone suplex. And Homicide, he's got it all on the line in this one as he says he needs to win that title. Cover. Gary Moore with the 2 count. He says he needs to win that title to make the most money here in ROH. He's come from that shady gangster lifestyle. He needs to win that title for his kid so he can give his kid a better life and his kid doesn't have to lead that lifestyle.
And there we see the Devil's son-in-law in the corner as Homicide with a big knee right to the head of CM Punk. Can you do that, Chris?
No, but I tell you what, that's going to be very annoying if you just got a knee to the head. Julius Smokes, of course, he came in our Ring of Honor with those riots, watching Homicide's back, and he has since evolved into becoming Homicide's corner person, giving him moral support, giving him guidance at ringside, and that could be the extra thing that Homicide needs to reach the next level and get that ROH title. Shining Wizard by Punk, and Homicide smartly rolls out. He might be knocked out, but Punk following up quickly with a beautiful tope.
What a combination of moves there by CM Punk, and Homicide is in a lot of troubles. He's on the floor. Punk's got to get him in the ring.
And right now, CM Punk, he has to forget about that war with Raven. Homicide, he's got to forget about that feud with the group. Both men have to be focused on beating each other here. #1 contenders trophy on the line. Winner will face the ROH champion on May 31st. They'll have the opportunity to be the top man. And in order to be and when you're the top man of Ring of Honor, you can claim to be one of the best in the world. As now you see Homicide in, tilted well by Punk into a backbreaker. Nicely done. And Punk now taking Homicide. CM Punk original move right there.
Wow, nice move by Punk. He's got to go for the cover. And Lucy loving it on the outside.
I tell you, I like those goth girls.
Yeah, me too. Count it 2, not enough there.
As CM Punk trying for the cover, you see this Pittsburgh area audience definitely appreciating the action. CM Punk, a little questionable tactic there, choking out Homicide. And Gary Moore distracted. Hold on, what? The Second City Saints have integrity. They're not about breaking a code of honor. Lucy just interfering. It's her first night here. Maybe she doesn't quite know the deal.
Yeah, Punk should fill her in on the rules here. There is a code.
CM Punk, he's a guy that upholds that code of honor. I mean, say what you will about this cocky, straight-edge, arrogant lifestyle, as you see an upside-down face wash here, but CM Punk is a man of integrity. Oh, boot right to the face. That's one of the things that makes CM Punk so arrogant, so annoying, is that he does have that integrity, and he does uphold it, and he backs up everything he says.
You're right there, Chris.
As you saw him making the X right there, symbolizing that straight-edge lifestyle, drug and alcohol-free. CM Punk thinks if you're sitting there right now drinking a beer, smoking a bowl, enjoying this videotape for DVD, he looks down on you for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Say what you want about CM Punk, though. He definitely has a lot of integrity. Goes for the cover, but no, not enough.
And did you see CM Punk grinding that forearm right in the face of Homicide? It's those little things that differs the great wrestlers from the guys who are trying to be pro wrestlers. Little stuff like that, and that's the kind of stuff you'll see all the athletes in Ring of Honor execute. Punk springboards in, misses a senton. Oh, Homicide back up to his feet, clubs him down.
And Julius Smokes on the outside.
Brutal kicks by the victorious 187 Homicide. He's kicking CM Punk for his son. The crowd loves it. He wants that title shot. And now he's taking CM Punk. Oh, look at that. Grinding on those back of the knees right there. Now Punk, he's in a bad position. Homicide perhaps trying to surfboard right now. Taking him back. Not quite the full way, but that's still stretching at the joints, the elbows, the shoulders, the back of CM Punk, all in pain from that maneuver. As there you see Homicide dropping an elbow. Homicide perhaps going for that surfboard again. That hurts the knees, that hurts the elbows, that hurts the shoulders, that stretches the back, that stretches the torso. That's like a torture device right there. Well, Doug Williams is a torture device, but right there wrenching back, and CM Punk is in a world of pain right now.
He doesn't have him hooked all the way, but still, look at Punk's face. He's in excruciating pain. And Homicide holding on to the hair here. What leverage? Look at that. People are not supposed to bend like that, Chris.
You know what? We can do all the commentary we want and say how much it hurts, but I mean, just look at that picture right there. As now you see an STF right there by CM Punk, and Homicide's in a world of pain right now. As that hurts the knee, that stretches the entire body. Homicide reaching for the ropes, trying to make it.
He's got to get to the ropes.
He's close. He's close. That oxygen getting cut off too, as CM Punk right in the mouth and nose, but there he is reaching the rope. Gary Moore demanding a break.
Great back and forth submissions here we have in ROH. What a match this is shaping up to be, Chris. And now following up with the STF again, but no, Homicide reverses it. He rolls through. He has him. What's he going for?
This is how he beat Daniels. Oh no, he rolls through though, and he's got Punk in his submission, stretching him once again. And look at the muscle in Punk's shoulder being stretched, and that neck being stretched.
Wow, what a painful maneuver there. And CM Punk's in a lot of trouble. Homicide's got to follow up. What's he going for?
He's got him hooked, perhaps the Northern Lights. No, Punk fighting out of it with everything that he's got. No, there's another reversal. Punk now with the Northern Lights.
Not enough there. 2 count there by referee Gary Moore. Both these guys taking a lot out on each other. Both men are down. Who's got more fight in them, Chris?
And do you think there's a chance maybe another one of Raven's disciples, another one of his lackeys could hit the ring here? I mean, who was that guy before?
I have no idea who that was.
Well, Punk sent to the floor. That's something that we keep an eye on, something that definitely more of this match. It would be a shame if it happened. Tope con hilo by Homicide.
Wow, nice maneuver there.
Homicide can wrestle strong style. He can fly. He can stretch you. He can go hold to hold. He can brawl and bleed as he did in that I Quit Bunkhouse Riot last show with Dusty Rhodes. He can do it all, and nobody does a tope con hilo better than Homicide. Very effective move as CM Punk is down.
And both these guys on the outside. No countouts here. It's referee's discretion. There's no 10 count here.
I mentioned I like goth girls.
I think he did.
As there you see CM Punk whipped into the guardrails right there. Let's see what Homicide can follow up with. No, Punk trying to stop with a boot, but he gets that leg slammed into the steel guardrail.
Ouch.
Oh, there's the other boot, though. CM Punk always one step ahead mentally. Belly to belly on the floor. What impact.
Wow, that'll take everything out of you on that one.
That'll rattle your rib cage, hurt your back, and knock the breath right out of you.
And Julius Smokes on the outside. Can't believe what he's seeing here. What action here in ROH.
I can't believe the evolution of Julius Smokes from a street thug, now bringing that street lifestyle into Ring of Honor, something we haven't seen before. And he's bringing it into Homicide's corner. Homicide, of course, he's kept that street gang lifestyle that he's had separate from that wrestling lifestyle, his wrestling life, and now we're seeing them kind of combine right here.
You're right, but Chris, this could be the element, the outside element brought in. That could put Homicide over the top here in ROH.
Homicide so close.
You're right, this is something that could be definitely for his advantage here, if done right. And Homicide's still in a lot of pain on the outside. And J-Trade, Julius Smokes fired up Homicide.
And that might be the thing that Homicide needs to get the adrenaline going. He needs to win this match to get to that title. He's been cheated of that title shot in the past. Can he finally get it? And CM Punk now methodical, planning out his next move. Oh, low blow by Homicide. Homicide's got him hooked. German suplex.
He drove his head right in the canvas right there. And Homicide's firing back.
And maybe it was that influence of Julius Smokes on the inside that gave Homicide that energy. Cover. Kick out by CM Punk.
Not enough, but Punk in a lot of trouble. These guys have taken a lot of punishment here in this ring. And now Homicide firing up with a fist. And now he's putting Punk to the top rope. What could this be?
Homicide maybe going airborne again, going for another aerial maneuver. Let's see. No. Yes, he hits that hurricane off the top. CM Punk in trouble.
But no, a 2 count there by Garrett Moyer. How's Punk kicking out of these maneuvers here?
And Julius Smokes calling for a forearm. Kevin, words of encouragement for Homicide. Julius Smokes, Homicide, they run together in the same gang, and now we're seeing it here in ROH. But Homicide whipping. Oh, hold on. Punk catches Homicide.
And wait a second, he's in a precarious move here.
Hold on, he's looking for that Pepsi plunge. No one kicks out of this. It's all over. I can't believe it. Homicide kicked out of the Pepsi plunge.
He kicked out of the Pepsi plunge off the top rope. I don't think anybody's ever done that.
This crowd is stunned. CM Punk is stunned, but you know why he kicked out of that? Because nothing is going to deny Homicide that title shot. Nothing is going to deny Homicide that ROH title. He's got to win it for his kid, and nothing's going to stop him. And then you see a backbreaker by Punk. Homicide catches him, ace crusher. Homicide will not be denied. He's got him. He's got the adrenaline flow. He's got the second win right now. He's got his third win, his fourth win. It's all in one. Lariat. Down goes Punk, cover.
No, not enough. Homicide so close to being victorious here.
Homicide definitely has the adrenaline going. He said, I can't get a regular job. There's only one way for me to give my kids a better lifestyle, and that's winning the RH title. And he's not going to be denied again like he was at Final Battle 2002. Punk catching him, though. Punk, no. Oh, this will be it. That's going to be it for Homicide. CM Punk going on May 31st for the title shot. Another kick out by Homicide.
Where's Homicide getting this, Chris?
This is the only kind of thing that a parent can relate to when you have to do it for your kid. And that's what Homicide's doing right now. Nothing's going to deny him. He scoops up. Oh! Drops him on his head.
Not enough. What action we're seeing here?
Punk foot in the rope, but Punk is in a lot of trouble here. But Punk, you know, it's his dream to get that ROH title. He's not going to go down so easily.
You know what he's set up for here? It could be the cop killer. If he hits it, it's all over.
The move banned in Japan. The move we can't even call the cop killer anymore because Homicide's probation officer saw these tapes and said not to call it that anymore. And there it is. No! Punk gets out of the cop killer. Whatever, the Kudo driver, I guess we have to call it now. And Punk trying to leg scissors type maneuver, not quite getting it. Now he's gone behind Homicide, takes Homicide up. Homicide lands on his feet, though. He's not going to be denied. Going for the Shining Wizard, but Punk scoops him up in a fireman's carry position. Down belly driver.
Wow, what back and forth maneuvering here. This could be it.
He was woozy. Oh, Homicide in the ropes. Maybe it was those couple of seconds that Punk was hurting where he couldn't make the cover. That just cost him the match right there. As what's it going to take to defeat Homicide? Perhaps another Pepsi plunge. But you got to figure, as much as Homicide wants this win, as much as he needs this win, he has to be running out of gas. And you hear the Pittsburgh crowd getting behind this action, appreciating that these men are putting it all on the line. And enziguri by Punk didn't quite hit it all the way, though, as Punk is definitely tired. He's definitely hurting in this one. Punk going for another type maneuver. No, back and forth, back and forth. Down goes Punk, though. Homicide, look, he's got that knee in between the legs there. I've seen him do this before. This is that STF, that new version he uses. He's got a hook. He's got a hook. Punk in the middle of the ring. Punk nowhere to go in the middle of the ring, and he taps.
He taps, that's it. Homicide is victorious.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's your main event. The Ring of Honor World title is on the line. There you see an intense handshake between the champion, Samoa Joe, in the brown and black tights, and the challenger, the notorious 187 Homicide, wearing the bandana. And what a match we're going to have here. Julius Smokes in the corner of Homicide. Samoa Joe, a member of the group, and this is the first ROH World Title match. Ray, why don't you tell us why it's for the World Title as Homicide grabs the arm of Samoa Joe?
Well, 2 weeks ago at the big FWA ROH Super Show in London, England, Samoa Joe had a non-title matchup against the Zebra Kid, but he decided to make it a world title since he was in London, England. And since the title was defended there in England, he thought it was deserving of world title status because it is a worldly belt. And Samoa Joe is definitely a fighting champion. He is definitely a great representative of Ring of Honor as it's going worldwide.
Say what you will about him being a member of the group, but he did not have to defend the title that night, and he demanded it for it to be defended. As you see him connecting with that knee and working on that arm of Homicide, and that's the kind of champion that Samoa Joe is. And Homicide, of course, winning that excellent match against CM Punk at Retribution Round Robin Challenge 2 to get the #1 Contenders trophy, and that's why this match is happening right now. But don't forget, Ray, Homicide holds a non-title win over Samoa Joe. Of course, it's before Joe was champion, all the way back at Scramble Madness, November 16th in Boston.
And you're right, and so much history between these two men here as they're going back and forth here as this match is for all the marbles, Chris.
There is so much history behind this one, as you said. Homicide had a war with the group. Of course, we saw the Bunkhouse Riot, and of course, we saw the past matches with Samoa Joe, All-Star Extravaganza in that 6-man, then the Scramble Madness, one attack after another. Tons of history, tons of hatred, but this match is going to be all about athleticism because the world title's on the line, as there you see Joe peppering the head of Homicide with those slaps. And that's just insulting. And now Joe taking it to him with those knees. And there's a big one right in the jaw, and down goes Homicide, just like Joe did to Dan Moff. And Homicide rolling towards the ropes. And there you see ref Gary Moore with the count. And I think we could easily see this match not only end in pinfall or submission, but I think it's also a possibility for it to end in TKO, in a knockout.
You're absolutely right. These two guys are so hard-hitting. This match could end just like that. And speaking of Dan Moff, what about what we saw earlier with Homicide, Mafia, Low-Key, Julius Smokes? Things are really heating up here. I hope Homicide isn't thinking of those other things because he needs to think about this match right here.
And that's what he's doing right there. A double boot right to the face of Samoa Joe. Homicide coming in, drop kicks Joe into the corner. No, and look at Homicide using his quickness against the big man. And now he's peppering him with those cross faces right there. Joe desperately going for the ropes, and he gets them. And Homicide, that's going to be his strength in this one, is the quickness. And Joe has proved he's susceptible to quick moves because that's how Homicide pinned him, a quick roll-up. That's how BRYAN Danielson beat him in that hard-hitting match at the first anniversary show, was a quick roll-up. So Samoa Joe can be pinned by something fast, something quick, something sudden, but Joe going quickness for quickness with Homicide there, baiting Homicide to go to the floor while he rolls back to the inside. But real quick, Ray, I have to mention, for a selection of over 5,000 tapes, all Ring of Honor, you name it, you name a big star, you want a tape of them from any promotion, anywhere, go check out rfvideo.com or call 215-891-9404 as Joe absorbing that forearm by Homicide, only to get knocked, only to get that finger to the eye, and that stopped him right there.
Big boot there by Homicide, and what's he going to follow up with here? A big knee into the corner, and Samoa Joe's in a lot of trouble here, Chris.
And that's what we're talking about. It could end in a knockout with blows like that in this one. Very hard-hitting contest on our hands. Homicide signaling for another one, but Joe catches him, plants him almost through the ring. What impact. The wind has to be knocked out of the body of Homicide.
What a devastating maneuver there by Samoa Joe. My God, Lovey.
And you hear the crowd responding to that one. They love this. Joe ripping the bandana off the head of Homicide. Of course, Homicide, he has his street thug buddy, his running mate, Julius Smokes, in his corner. As there you see, Samoa Joe unleashing the chop, then unleashing the kick. Homicide's body has to be hurting. And a 2 count. It's going to take a lot more than that. Homicide so much on the line. He has to win this match for his son. He said that in the promo earlier tonight. His son, he doesn't want him. There you see Julius Smokes. He doesn't want his son to lead the same life as him. Brutal kicks. And in order to give his son a better life, he has to win the ROH World title because then he'll make the most money. And he catches Joe. He lands him on his head.
Did you see how his head hit the mat there, Chris? And Samoa Joe's out on the floor. What a maneuver there by Homicide.
Samoa Joe had to take a breather after getting dumped on his head like that. He has to take a couple moments to shake it off. Here comes Homicide. Joe catches him. One impact into the guardrails.
What's up, Joe?
Have you ever seen a hard-hitting match like this before?
Absolutely not.
These two going for new levels of brutality in this one.
Uh-oh, we've seen this in London as he had the Zebra Kid.
Homicide catches him, hits a forearm. And Homicide taught him to release over that belly-to-belly onto that basketball court floor, and you know how hard those are. And now Joe planting Homicide in the chair. Oh, big chop. Shades of London, England, right there, Frontiers of Honor. That's where Joe picked that up, and I think that's going to catch on.
Well, unfortunately for Homicide, he just got his head leveled into that rail of sheet metal. And I think the fans are calling for one more time here, Chris.
The fans love both these guys. Oh my God, Joe with such impact.
Well, I mean, they might have to stop this one. Homicide's in a lot of trouble. His quest for the ROH World title it's not looking good here.
That is metal. That is steel metal right there. And Joe just bent it in half with the force of that kick. Homicide. Look.
And remember, that's steel rails that's holding up that sheet metal as well. That's double the impact there.
And Homicide busted open on the side of the head from the impact of that kick, then going face first into that steel, that metal. Oh, how did he kick out of that?
And we saw in the opening match here, that steel is unforgiving at ringside as it busted open Danny Mott, and I think he's biting Homicide's head.
Samoa Joe biting the open wound of Homicide. And that's the lengths these guys will go to win that ROH World title. That's what it's all about. You're the top man going today if you have that belt. And Samoa Joe now trying to take Homicide over. Oh, beautiful German suplex. And Homicide, he's holding on to him. And now he's got him. Dragon suplex. Homicide rocking, Homicide reeling. And he's got him cross arm. No, Homicide tries to get out of it. But Joe avoids the kick, stops him on the back.
Chris, I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen a flurry of action quite like that. Homicide's in a lot of trouble. He's busted wide open. This is ROH wrestling at its best.
3 bone-crushing, skull-shattering suplexes there by Samoa Joe. What a slap exchange. This is pro wrestling as a sport. As right now, Homicide fighting with every ounce of energy he has. He's doing it for his son. He's doing it to give him a better life. Swinging DDT, spikes Joe on his head, and Joe rolls to the floor one more time. Great tactic by Samoa Joe.
That's right, wisely rolling into the ropes there so he can't get pinned.
Samoa Joe, whenever he's getting dumped on his head, he goes to the floor to grab himself a couple of moments. He knows Ref Gary Moore, he's going to give him a lot of time on the floor. He's not going to let this title match end in a DQ for being on the floor. So very smart wrestling by Samoa Joe. And what's Homicide looking for? And look at Julius Smokes. He's pulling out a table. That string element is pulling out a table right now.
And they're unleashing everything in this match. And that just shows how prestigious this title battle is becoming, is that these guys will put everything on the line for it.
Homicide, the crimson flowing from his skull. He goes into the ropes.
Chris, how much more can these guys take?
Both men on reload. Both men move the table.
I've never seen quite a fan reaction here at an ROH show quite like this. This is something special we're seeing here in Philadelphia.
Words can't do this live atmosphere justice as you see Samoa Joe on the floor. Homicide, he's reaching deep inside him to put Joe in. He's using every ounce of energy, all the intestinal fortitude that he has, trying to shake it off. He's bleeding, he's hurting, he's injured, he's rolling Joe over cover.
No, not enough. As Homicide's got to capitalize on Samoa Joe as he's down. This is his opportunity for the ROH title, excuse me.
Both men Definitely down, definitely exhausted, but keep fighting with everything they have. As there you see Homicide missing the back fist. Joe catches Homicide, takes him up. Kick out for the 2 SDF. And will Homicide give, but Joe saves his gum, but then he turns it over into a choke. He's got that choke on. This is it put Doug Williams down, it put Xavier down, it put 2 men down. 1 of 2 matches, including Hotstuff Fernandez and Cole Cabana as epic encounter. He's got the choke. No one gets out of the choke. Homicide's in a lot of trouble. Wait! Loki's coming to ringside. What's Loki doing down here?
Stop fighting! Stop fighting!
He's yelling for Homicide. He's Homicide's his best friend, his trainer. And Homicide gets out of the choke after the origin of Loki and slaps the SDF on Joe. He slaps the SDF on Joe after the origin of Homicide and the origin of Loki.
Go back on it!
Sound advice by Loki there as he gave Homicide that extra boost to energy, and Joe makes it to the ropes.
Relock him!
It was that SDF a version of it that got him the #1 contenders trophy, and he could be setting that up against Joe, and now he hits Joe with the clothesline. To the back, a clothesline to the front. He could be going for a 3rd lariat. No, Joe catches him with a knee.
Oh, and another knee, and Homicide's down.
Did you see the impact of the midsection there?
And Loki can't believe what he's seeing.
Whoa, but check that out. Loki close to Samoa Joe.
Come on, Homicide!
And we know the issue between them.
Glory by Honor, one of the hardest hitting matches ever.
And wait.
You didn't beat me for that belt. Get your ass up.
Loki, the first ROH champion, telling Joe he didn't. Oh, that's a knockout knee right there. Homicide might be out. That could be a KO right there.
And he did it right in front of Loki.
Of course, this could be it for Homicide.
Get up! Get up! 5. Now, Gary, get up! 6. 7. Get yourself up. 8. Get up, Homicide. 9. Get up!
Homicide gets up at what was that, a 9 count. He makes the ropes, but I think he's knocked silly. One more blow like that, and he will be down for good. As right now, he's pretty much at the mercy of Joe. Look at Joe taunting Loki. Of course, that Glory by Honor match is legendary for how brutal it was. And Joe just, slaps the face of Homicide.
Jared, this is your time right now. Get the fuck up! Get up! Get the fuck up right now! Let's go about this.
Loki firing up Homicide, his best friend, his trainer, Homicide. Suplex on a chair right on his head. This could be Homicide's opportunity to win the title. And Homicide fired up. The crowd behind Homicide, they're sensing title change. Julius Smoke, Loki in the corner. He's crusher. Go for the cover, Homicide. No, Homicide. He feels he needs one more big impact move before he can go for the cover. Snapmare's Joe over. Joe to lot. Brutal kick. Joe is down. Homicide going up to the top. This could be it. Oh, double boot to the gut. He's got to go for the cover, Levy. He turns Joe over. Oh, so close, but not enough. Homicide, he might be thinking of going for that version of the SDF again, perhaps the cop killer. He knows he's got the champion Samoa Joe in trouble. Loki firing up his trainer, firing up one of his best friends, and now it's Homicide. That title within grasp. It's just 3 seconds away for Homicide.
Chris, I have never seen a title match quite like this. This is incredible.
Brutal kicks to the face of Samoa Joe by Homicide. Homicide now hooking Joe. What's he gonna do?
Does he have enough energy to get the big man up?
I don't know. Joe's trying to fight. Joe is fighting. Can Homicide go? Joe still struggling. Homicide go. Oh! Dangerous right on the head!
My God! He just landed on top of his head. He might be out.
Joe once again going to the floor after the blow to the head. We've seen it before. We've seen him do it earlier in the match. But that was just so dangerous. All the body weight of Joe coming down right on his head.
I can't believe what I'm seeing here. I think
hold on.
Joe out?
The ref is signaling to the back for the other refs to come out.
Remember, it's referee discretion here on a count. There's no 10 count here.
I think more importantly than that, it's Joe is seriously injured. We saw Jody Fleisch in the match before this one injure his knee trying to move. These athletes in Ring of Honor put it all on the line, and injuries are inevitable when that happens, and you just hope they're not so serious. But right now, Samoa Joe is out on the floor. They're keeping Homicide back. We have a situation on our hands right here, and you saw B.J. Whitmer and CM Punk do that to each other at Epic Encounter. I mean, sometimes these athletes do go too far, and we might have just seen that. I mean, they do put themselves in such dangerous situations and try such dangerous moves and I think Joe is out. And we could have a new champion if the referee calls, if Gary Moore rings for the bell right now, because Joe is out, Homicide will be your champion.
Well, you said this match could be a TKO, and we might have it here.
Right now, Gary Moore, he's the man in the hot seat right now, but Homicide, they're letting Homicide close to Joe, so Gary Moore ruling that this match will continue. Gutsy call by Gary Moore, perhaps putting the life and career of Samoa Joe in jeopardy. I don't know if I agree with that. What is the ROH World title worth to you? Is it worth being in a wheelchair? Is it worth being in the hospital? Oh, Joe kicks out.
Samoa Joe with possibly his last ounce of energy there kicking out. I think Samoa Joe's on empty here.
Samoa Joe definitely has to be close to empty, but he did have time to rest on the floor. Very smart tactic going to the floor.
Vicious kick to the head on that already beaten head.
And there's another one by Homicide, but Joe seems to be getting a second win now. He did have all that time to rest on the floor. Great tactic by Samoa Joe, great strategy, and he's trying to make his way to his feet. Another big kick, another Mafia kick, and Joe staggers into the corner.
And look at his eye. His eye is swelling shut, Chris, his left eye. Wow.
Homicide busted open on the side of the head. Samoa Joe's left eye swelling shut, as Ray Morrow just said. And now Homicide sets and kill. He can taste the blood. He can taste the title. And
wait a second.
This is the wrong time for this.
This shouldn't be happening.
Low-key, Julius Smoke's arguing on the outside, and Homicide's distracted. Homicide, he's looking at the corner to see what's going on. His two cornermen are fighting, and Joe caught him in that choke. Joe just quickly got the choke, no, but Homicide gets out of it. Goes to the top, but Homicide was distracted there by Loki and Julius Smokes for that second. Now he's trying to headbutt.
And they're still arguing, Chris.
And this is definitely a distraction. Oh, no, Joe's got Homicide caught.
Oh, no!
This is the first of two grudge match main events, the one we've all been waiting for. The match 6 months in the making, Homicide versus Steve Corino. And let me tell you something, this is the God's honest truth. These two hate each other.
And you could cut the intensity with not even a knife, with a buzzsaw on this one, as so much has been building. And it's about to erupt here in Fairfield, Connecticut.
And look at this collar and elbow tie-up. This is one of the most intense collar and elbow tie-ups I've ever seen. Look, great camera shot, taking you right inside of it. Just look at the intensity. Look at the pressure these two are putting against each other on this collar and elbow tie-up. Oh, my God. What are these two going to do to each other in this one? They hate each other so much. The intensity is there. Corino with the chop. Homicide fights back. Homicide back again. Back and forth. Both men go. Who's going to get the advantage? The hair is flying as Homicide lights up Steve Corino.
We're witnessing some tight action here as Homicide goes for the go behind. Corino drops down.
He's going for a drop toe hold, but Homicide grabs the legs, and both men struggling on the canvas. This one actually started at Glory by Honor October 5th, a year ago, basically, when Corino, his ego got in the way. He turned on Homicide, costing the match to the Backseat Boys. 11-9 All-Star Extravaganza. Homicide stabs Corino in the eye. 12-28 Final Battle 2002. Corino takes Homicide out of the main event. And then Queens, the Riot. We have not seen Corino since. The challenges were issued by Homicide. Corino finally accepted after Homicide brought his kid into it, saying that, hey, how can you face your son? Your son thinks you're a coward by not coming back. Corino finally coming back for this one.
And Corino and Homicide tying up right here, trying to go for The hold here, and it's broken up, but they're still clawing at each other. And the elbows and headbutts are flying. Wow.
Ooh, did you see that headbutt? Oh, another one by Homicide. The notorious 187. He told Corino, I'll leave my crew in Brooklyn. I'll come alone to fight you. And look what Corino does. He brings a whole entourage with him.
That was one of the most ridiculous things I've probably ever witnessed in an ROH ring, but leave it to Steve Corino to bring that element here to ROH.
You see Guillotine LeGrand on the outside, his own ring announcer, Bobby Cruz, and his young boys. Who's this guy to have young boys?
And they threw 3 streamers in the ring. Did you see those kids with the streamers?
And they threw them in the ring and then got them themselves. That was ridiculous. But back to the match.
And back to another collar and elbow tie up here.
I think it's more Homicide trying to choke the life out of Corino. That's now Homicide taking the King of Old School and giving him a big chop.
And what a strong style matchup we're seeing here.
Oh yeah, you don't taunt Homicide. Corino paying the price right there. And Corino's ego is bruised once again. Oh my God, oh my God. Did you see that slap? What was with that slap? Oh, that's the kind of slap that could disable Corino forever. I can't believe that slap that we just saw. Right on the ear of Steve Corino.
And Corino just crumbled to the outside.
Oh my God.
He's holding that ear.
I'm in shock at what we just saw with that slap. Oh, these two hate each other. You can feel it. You can feel it coming through your TV screen.
And look at his eye. He's got a mouse underneath his eye, probably from one of those headbutts. As Corino, what damage is he taking here in the opening moments of this matchup?
I'm in awe. I'm in shock. I still can't believe it. Corino, I don't blame him.
Is he leaving?
I don't blame him. I'd leave too. I would leave too after that slap. And what's it? It's Julius Smokes, Benny from the Bronx, and Slugger. What's Slugger doing with him? Homicide coming prepared. Homicide knew Corino might pull shenanigans. He brought his crew with him. But why is Slugger out there with him? And now Homicide taking it to Corino on the floor. Whips him in.
And Corino whipped hard into the rail right there.
Are those the Rottweilers that we came through the curtain? We've been hearing a lot about the Rottweilers. Are those them?
I have no idea.
Well, that's another issue to deal with at another time, as right now we have this intense match going on. Homicide throwing Corino back in the ring. Julius Smokes, street name J-Train, known as a double son-in-law as well, remains in the corner of Homicide for the rest of this match, probably to counteract Guillotine LeGrand in the corner of Corino.
And Homicide has Corino down, and a big knee to the already busted up face of Steve Corino, and he looks like he's out. And Homicide sticking his fingers in the nose. This is vicious, Chris.
Oh, look at that, ripping at the nostrils, pulling on the flesh.
And this matchup is going beyond the bounds of professional wrestling. The hatred here is unbelievable. And Homicide falls with a big headbutt and rocks Corino. And look at Julius Smokes on the outside, telling Homicide to lay it in there.
Homicide has waited so long for this match. He couldn't wait any longer. He wanted to open the show, but he's getting down. He misses that diving headbutt. Corino to his feet. Corino up. Leg lariat on Homicide. Now one connects.
And the notorious 187 just got rocked as he's down. But look at Corino. He's still feeling the punishment.
Corino, he didn't want to cover. He didn't want to come back to Ring of Honor after the riots. Homicide challenged him several times, brought his son to it. Corino finally returns. And look, he's face to face with Julius Smokes, the man who started those infamous riots in Queens. As Homicide tossed out of the ring, but hard into the rope first. And Ray, I gotta mention it. I gotta do the plug for over 5,000 videotapes from every wrestling promotion you can think of. Best of everyone you can think of. Check out rfvideo.com. Call 215-891-9404. Or check out rohwrestling.com for the latest from Ring of Honor. Again, that's rfvideo.com. 215-891-9404.
And can you feel the tension here? Just with the way he dumped Homicide to the floor. This thing it's going to erupt, Chris. And it's going to erupt real soon. And Homicide draped over the rail. Corino trying to choke the life out of the notorious 187 there as he just put his throat over the top of that rail.
And one thing I have to mention, there's such an atmosphere in this building. You have to experience it live as Corino throwing those fingers right in the face of Homicide, right into the eyes. And Steve Corino, whenever he enters a building, there's just this aura about him. The atmosphere changes. Steve Corino just has such a unique presence about him, and I can feel it right now, and hopefully you can feel it coming through your TV screen, but you got to be here live to appreciate something like this.
And if the fans out there don't feel it, Homicide's going to feel it, but no, a reversal, and Corino goes into the post.
And what's Homicide do now? He throws Corino head first right into that steel.
And Homicide,
what's he doing?
This is in shades of a strong style matchup.
Hold on, he's got barbed wire. Homicide, he came prepared for this one. He brought his crew from Brooklyn, and he brought a strand of barbed wire. And this is a grudge match, relaxed rules. We're going to let them go.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my God.
He is ripping the flesh of Steve Corino with that barbed wire.
I don't think I've ever seen anything so gruesome just like that. How graphic, and his arm is busted wide open. Look at the cloud flowing from the barbed wire right across the arm of Steve Corino.
The flesh has been torn open on Steve Corino's arm. Homicide going back, digging the razor-sharp wire right into the skin of Corino, cutting him very deeply. And notice one thing, Corino has that shoulder taped up. He has those shoulder and neck problems as you see Homicide laughing. He's enjoyed it. He's waited so long for this.
He's got a fork now, digging it into the busted open arm of Steve Corino.
And that's a ghetto fork. That means it's extra sharp. He uses that as a weapon. He knows how to scrape it and really make those points extra sharp, and that's what he did.
And now he's biting the arm. Look at this.
Oh, you want to talk about ghetto? That's ghetto right there.
That's raw and uncensored. My goodness. There's even blood on the camera lens.
Corino's had that arm, the flesh, torn open by barbed wire. A sharpened fork again with the fork, and Homicide's teeth.
This is something that we haven't seen in 18 months of Ring of Honor. This vicious brutality. This is like street brutality right here in Connecticut. And Homicide is taking it to Steve Corino. Everything that Corino has done over the last year, this is payback for the notorious 187.
Julius Smoke, street name J-Train, showing his appreciation, giving his support to Homicide. Paul Turner, the referee, doing a great job. We told him, let these guys go. Relaxed rules in this one. Let them settle this, and that's what Paul Turner's doing. And as a result, Corino's arm has been shredded.
And Corino fighting for his life. Thoughts it. Wow, nice wire by Homicide. He caught the notorious 187, but look at him just grasping that cut open arm. Look at the blood just flowing.
Well, Corino has held all those titles that Bobby Cruz mentioned for a reason, because he is that good, and he just exhibited it right there against the notorious 187, as now the king of old school has the advantage, putting a boot to Homicide.
But I haven't seen anything this violent ever in an ROH ring. Look at that arm. That's just disgusting. And Homicide taking it to the floor. I don't know if that's wise for Corino. He took an unbelievable amount of punishment just a few moments ago on the floor. Let's see, maybe he has something in mind for Homicide.
Oh, he just spit on Julius Smokes. And Corino, you mentioned taking it to the floor right there. Corino hates Homicide just as much as Homicide hates Corino. Homicide's been a thorn in Corino's side. Oh, Homicide sent into that steel.
He just pushed his head right into that rail. That was vicious. I'm sorry.
For all the Homicide busted open.
Oh, he is busted.
For all the damage Homicide has put on Corino, Corino wants to get back to Homicide.
The cloud is flowing here in Fairfield. Look at this. Boy, Corino caught him with that rail. Oh, my.
And look at him digging the fingers into that cut. He is digging his fingers right into the cut of Homicide, opening it up even more.
And look at the blood flowing. That's disgusting. And Corino has the barbed wire.
Corino digging the barbed wire into the already deep cut on Homicide's forehead. And Homicide, now he's got to be blinded by that blood. It has to be stinging his eyes. And how long until Homicide starts getting woozy from blood loss?
Get him up, get him up.
Boy, he is bleeding everywhere here in Fairfield, and that's a pile driver.
Cover, this could be it.
No, not enough.
Homicide rolls to the outside. He needs a breather. Homicide sent straight through the table. The crowd on its feet.
You look at the blood just pouring off his head. I don't even know what to call. I think referee Paul Turner, I know this is relaxed rules and everything, but he might have to think about stopping this one.
There's an actual puddle of blood on the floor. You're right, he might have to think about stopping it. How much blood can Homicide lose? Not to mention Steve Corino's lost a tremendous amount of blood off of the arm, too.
And when we talk about matches, blood feuds, but this has gone one step further. These two combatants are definitely going to have to be stitched up after this one. And how much do these guys, how much fight do they have left in? I mean, I can't even commentate on something like this. This is going beyond the bounds of professional wrestling, Chris.
This is because these two men truly hate each other, and we're seeing what happens when you get two men with such hatred in their hearts, and you put them opposite each other in a Ring of Honor ring. You're going to get grudge match action like this, and Homicide's in a bad spot. This crowd going absolutely nuts as Corino just playing that boot right in the face of Homicide. Corino now picking him up, planning out his next move. And look at Corino looking at the crowd with disdain. Corino hates the ROH fans. He's made no secret about that. Julius Smokes hyping ringside, and who can blame him? Unbelievable match we're witnessing here. Corino into the corner. No, he's met with a boot by Homicide. Homicide, tornado DDT. And then notice Corino clutching the neck. Clutching the neck after that tornado DDT. That is the weak point on Steve Corino. Homicide struggling to come up with the next move. Shining Wizard! Shining Wizard! Homicide's down. Steve Corino's down. Oh, God, look at Homicide. This is like a horror movie.
Homicide is a crimson mask right here in the middle of the ring. Go for the cover. But Corino kicks out. Do you think Homicide even knows his whereabouts?
I gotta say that he does, but did you notice he hooked the leg that was closer to the rope? Very good ring presence by Homicide there, knowing exactly where Steve Corino was, and Corino needs a breather. He's on the outside. He's got to recoup, because, I mean, look at the punishment this man has taken in this match. How much can he last? Homicide on his feet, though. Here goes Homicide.
Top of that rail, did you see the way, the positioning that Homicide bent? He could have broken his lower back there. He's not getting up, Chris. Look at Julius Smokes checking on the Notorious 187. The crowd here in Fairfield rising to their feet, hovering around Homicide. Can he even get up? Is he even alive? I have never seen a collision by one man on the floor quite like that.
Show. Don't forget, Homicide missed the toe pick on Hilo in Queens. Corino rolled him in and got him with that Dragon Sleeper. Definite shades of Queens right here. And look at Homicide. Did you see Corino lift Homicide up by the ears? He lifted up the man by his ears. You have to go where your ears are going, or your ears are going to rip off your head. It's the only way Corino could get Homicide in the ring. This is going to be it. This is it.
No, not enough. And the lifeless body of Homicide kicking out of that.
It's shades of Queens.
Oh, wait a second.
There it is. The Dragon Sleeper. The Dragon Sleeper. This put Homicide down in Queens.
Homicide's fighting for his life here, Chris. He's got to get to the ropes.
How can Homicide have anything left? He has to tap. If he doesn't tap, abuse. He is done in this one. Corino with the Dragon Sleeper. It's only a matter of time. Homicide gets the ropes. Homicide gets the ropes.
And there's still life. There's still life in the body of Homicide. What heart, what determination, what courage we have here by the notorious 187 Homicide.
Guillotine LeGrand cannot believe it. Corino slapped in the back of the neck of Homicide, not for damage, but for insult. And Corino now, he's hooking on the Dragon Sleeper again.
He's got it again, Chris.
Homicide might have been able to survive it once. He'll never be able to survive it again. Homicide, it's only a matter of time till he passes out. The blood loss, the tope canilo, all the punishment. This is going to be it.
Ref, you better stop this. Ref, you better stop this. You better stop it.
I might be concurring in agreement there with Guillotine LeGrand, but Homicide with the low blow and a big twisted kick. Go for the cover.
Homicide is out of it, but he is woozy.
My God, what a camera shot.
Oh, should we censor this? Oh, my God. I can't believe it. We're whistling the intensity. This is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. Homicide struggling, and Julius Smoke's getting behind him. Julius Smoke's trying to give encouragement, and Homicide, with every ounce of strength he has, with everything in his body, climbing to the top rope, heaving himself, and it's raining blood from a lacerated Homicide.
But Homicide on the top rope. Corino meets him with a fist. And now Corino's scaling to the top. What can they come up with next?
Corino has a notorious 187. The dazed Homicide on the top rope. He's got him hooked. Oh, superplex.
And he took that punishment from that tope canilo. This has got to be it. How does he kick out of this?
Homicide, he's waited so long for this match. He's waited so long to get revenge on Steve Corino that nothing, I repeat, nothing is going to stop him in this match. And Corino, he's looking a little frustrated as he puts Homicide into the corner. What could Corino follow up with? Whips him in.
Homicide in the corner. Here comes Corino with a big running forearm. Dumps Homicide down.
And there's Corino taunting the crowd one more time. Corino hates these Ring of Honor fans. He holds disdain for them. And he just blew snot. Oh God.
Disgusting.
He blew snot on the Ring of Honor fans. How disrespectful is that? Homicide don't make it a comeback. Catches Corino. Goes up top. Ace Crusher. Pressure on the neck. That move hurts the neck. How did Corino ever kick out of that?
Chris, I'm just sitting back and watching this one. Words can't describe it. I can't even call this. I'll try a nice suplex there by Homicide. I am in awe of what I'm seeing here.
But look at Corino. He's clutching at that neck, that shoulder and neck. They have to be killing Corino right now. As he is showing his weakness, he is clutching at it.
The pain has to be shooting through the body of Steve Corino, as his neck has definitely got to be damaged after a high-risk maneuver by Homicide. And now both participants rise to their feet. Homicide's got him hooked.
Perhaps for a suplex. No, back elbows by Corino. Gets out of it. That suplex could have finished it off if he laid on his neck. Homicide, maybe another ace crusher. No, Corino catches him. Takes him up. Death belly driver powerbomb. Cover. How did Homicide do it? How is Steve Corino doing it? I gotta tell you what, I might hate Steve Corino, but I have to respect the man. I do love Homicide. He's great, and he's showing why in this one. This has been Homicide's year. One great match after another. CM Punk in Pittsburgh. The Samoa Joe match at Do or Die. And match after match after match. And Homicide doing it one more time here in Fairfield. Corino in. Homicide blocks it. Headbutt. Scoops up Corino. Tombstone.
the victory here in this grudge match.
You know what, though, Ray?
What's that?
That's another shot to the neck of Steve Corino. More damage to the neck and shoulder of Steve Corino. And there you hear the crowd there behind Homicide.
And what energy we're seeing from these participants, from this crowd. What a special match we have here in Ring of Honor.
And you only get special matches like this when something huge is on the line. And with these two men, it's hatred, it's pride. Homicide in, no, Corino ducks. Onto the back of the neck goes Homicide. Now he takes off the elbow pad, lariat. Cover, this is it. Not quite enough. Steve Corino, how much heart does this man have? I mean, this man, there's not a lot of qualities to like about him, but you got to admire his heart, his intestinal fortitude that he's showing here, especially after that slap by Homicide and everything else that's happened in this match. Homicide going to whip him in. Corino, though, hooking the rope, fell into happen, and ooh, what a forearm right to the jaw of Homicide. Corino now looking to polish off Homicide. No, drop to hold. Homicide, he's going for that STF. This made Prince Nana tap earlier. It puts all the pressure on the neck and the shoulders.
This could be it, Chris.
I think Corino has to tap. He's going to tap or pass out. He could definitely pass out from the pain here, too. Ball corner right in Corino's face. See if Corino wants to give.
Corino's got to get to the rope.
Now look at
Homicide putting him in the middle of the ring.
That's Homicide pulling him back in the ring.
He's got him hooked.
Oh, he's got the extra stretch going on. He's got the extra stretch by hooking that arm. It's tearing out the neck and shoulder. Corino's got a twist. Hold on, Guillotine LeGrand.
Wait a second, what was that?
Guillotine LeGrand throwing in the towel.
He threw the towel in for Corino, and Paul Turner's calling for the bell.
No ring ropes. Anything goes in this one. And
in being serious, in all honesty, it does. I mean, just look at that picture right there. It looks like a war zone already.
We're going to see people bleed in this one. We're going to see people get hurt.
No handshakes.
We're going to see careers change forever in this one. We're going to witness a match that I never thought that you would see in ROH.
Think about it. Barbed wire was invented to keep cattle in and to keep thieves out. Barbed wire will rip you to ribbons, believe me. I've seen Steve Corino in barbed wire matches before against the likes of Terry Funk. Now, Homicide's no stranger to barbed wire himself. Obviously, he came dressed to fight.
I have to admit that I have butterflies in my stomach right now. I'm a little nervous watching this match, thinking of what these two men are going to do to each other.
Homicide backing Corino in. Now, Corino's got to be mindful of where he is right now. Corino's too close. Whoa, Corino just fell out of the ring, Lovey.
That's what I'm talking about. The match is so dangerous. If there were ring ropes there, that would not have happened.
He's on his feet. Did he hit the wire at all?
No, he did not hit the wire, but he took a rough fall to the floor. And look at Corino saying, I can't grab it. And he's right. There you see Chuck LeGrand in the corner of Steve Corino, as well as the Young Boys and Bobby Cruz, the ring announcer.
Well, conversely, Homicide has Julius Smokes in his corner.
The devil's son-in-law himself. And right now, both men scoring off so much hatred. You mentioned about the background. I do have to mention the background a little bit. You had Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies, that match of the year bloodbath, which Homicide won when LeGrand threw in the towel, and he had to, because otherwise Homicide was going to end Steve Corino's career. As right now, Homicide on top of Corino. Then, of course, the infamous riots in New York. Steve Corino leaving ROH for several months after that. The second anniversary show. And look at Homicide. He's going after that ear. Corino is deaf because of that slap at Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies from Homicide.
Wait a minute. Corino holding the wire.
Corino, yes, he's trying to avoid getting his forehead into the wire. Homicide tried. No, Corino fighting back. And this is almost inhuman what we're watching here. I almost feel like a sick individual just for calling this, for witnessing this. Oh, both men just avoiding the wire. And, of course, the feud all started at the first Glory by Honor when Corino and Homicide were actually a tag team, and they lost to the Backseat Boys. And after Corino accidentally hit Homicide accidentally hit Corino, and Corino purposely hit Homicide, and the egos just exploded from there, especially Corino's. And Homicide just illustrating how sharp that barbed wire is, that barbed wire just shredding that piece of pizza.
Yeah, this ain't no joke. Corino's Young Boys being mindful and respectful of staying out of Homicide's way.
Of course, way back in 2002, November, a year ago, Homicide trying to take out Steve Corino's eye in the locker room at All-Star Extravaganza. And then, just earlier this month, Main Event Spectacles, Corino attacking Homicide after his match, going right after the ear of Homicide. Of course, Corino deaf in one ear for life because of that slap of Homicide at Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies. So a lot of hatred, a lot of intensity in this one.
I was actually just going to ask, but I guess pinfalls count as the ref went down.
Yep, pinfalls do count. And
backslide by Homicide.
Homicide going for the win early. I kind of like that strategy. Get out of this one pain-free, and Homicide can say he's 2-0 against Corino. Although Corino did win that first anniversary match, but Homicide can say he won the final 2 matches.
I don't think this one's about wins and losses. It's about Corino getting getting his ear back. I mean, you better believe he's looking to maim Homicide.
Maybe you have the inside scoop on this one, Punk, since you are friends with Corino.
Wait, don't worry about my business, and don't worry about...
I mean, what is the relationship with you and Corino? Are you guys friends?
What did I just say? Are you deaf like Corino, or do you want to be?
All right,
I said don't worry about it.
Let's get to the match. It's also why I'm not talking about you just laying out Christopher Daniels. Unbelievable what we just saw. But let's just get to this match right here.
With his own finishing maneuver.
Yes, I'm sure you're very proud of that.
Damn right I am. Oh.
But hey, you still don't know who attacked Lucy, as Corino almost in the barbed wire.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I know it wasn't Steve Corino.
Oh!
God.
Out of nowhere, Homicide, the first one into the barbed wire.
Julius Smokes looking on with concern on his face.
Homicide going with the old school natural born sinners. Oh! The old school natural born sinners look.
No, he's just digging that barbed wire into Homicide's head.
And Homicide is going to be busted open. No doubt that barbed wire was shredding the flesh of Homicide, and there it is. And there it goes again. Steve Corino using that barbed wire one more time. Look at that piece of barbed wire just jabbing into the side of the face of Homicide, ripping at the flesh.
You know, and I can't say he doesn't deserve it, but it's still hard to watch. Corino just absolutely. Oh! All right, now that's just nasty.
And that's what this match is all about. It's animalistic.
Come on, David, do.
Julius Smokes keeping an eye on his best friend.
Can't understand
Homicide.
a word he says. It's all clicks and buzzes.
Uh-oh, Homicide's in a bad spot. No.
This is going to kill him.
Bullshit.
I was trying to note before that Homicide is wearing the old school Natural Born Sinners outfit because that is when he's at his most violent.
He's already a bloody mess.
Steve Corino, gutsy decision on his part, just wearing his tights.
Well, he likes to show off his physique that he worked so hard to attain.
That's so hard at the bar.
I'll have you know, Corino hits the gym 7 days a month.
Jim's bar. And we have a barbed wire bat and a chair. Oh, DDT on the bat after a chair shot. Corino's got to be busted open after that.
Busted open? He might have just lost an eye.
And look, Homicide's got a fork. He's got a fork.
It's a stolen fork, no doubt. Probably stole it from some buffet that he obviously didn't pay for either. And this man's just a cheap criminal.
Homicide stabbing Corino. Homicide used that fork on Corino. Corino actually used the fork on Homicide almost a year ago. And look at Homicide just butchering Steve Corino. Oh, look at the crimson is flowing. Both men are going to need stitches after this one. They knew about it going in, but they hate each other so much that they're willing to make that sacrifice in order to cause pain on their opponent.
Corino smartly avoids the barbed wire.
Instead, he tastes that steel. Both men bleeding buckets.
Already both men bleeding. I guess it's to be expected in a barbaric match like this.
And Homicide, you know that he has to be enjoying this. He hates Steve Corino. Oh, he went right for the ear there. He went right for Corino's ear. Julius Smokes taunting Corino. You know, Homicide, he has to be having the best time of his life right now. He remembers that Steve Corino cost him that chance at Final Battle 2002. He knows that Corino attacked him at Main Event Spectacles. He's going for his retribution right here.
Retribution. You took the man's hearing. That's a big difference between helping him lose a match.
And he looks like he's not just trying to take the hearing, but trying to take the entire ear of Steve Corino right now. I didn't think anything could surpass the brutality we saw at Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies.
No.
Oh, stops that bat right in the side of the head of Corino. I can't believe what we're seeing. This is barbaric.
He's done enough damage to that ear.
You might not ever see anything like this in Ring of Honor again. I'm getting a little sick to my stomach, I have to admit it. Oh, once again, Homicide going after that ear of Corino. I think Corino's bleeding from the ear.
Of course he's bleeding from the ear, genius. He just stomped a barbed wire bat in the side of his head. You know, Corino's got a 6-year-old kid.
And he is in attendance. Colby Corino watching this right now.
Oh, he's just raking his head across the barbed wire.
That barbed wire, it's piercing, it's cutting, it's stabbing into the flesh of Steve Corino.
You see Charlie the Grand looking on right there.
I have to admit, I don't like Steve Corino myself. He has no respect for Ring of Honor, or most importantly, the Ring of Honor fans.
What do you know? Look what this man's doing.
Well, he hates the Ring of Honor fans. The point I was going to make is that even though I hate Steve Corino myself, I don't want to see any person subjected to this kind of brutality. And Homicide has that bat wrapped in barbed wire. Oh, across the top of the head. Is there anything he won't do?
I'm almost speechless. Yeah, don't go for a pinfall victory. You're disgusting, Homicide.
A low blow by Corino. Homicide monkey flipped upside down into that wire, and look how his ring gear is torn. Can you imagine if that barbed wire is shredding fabric like that, what it does to human flesh, what it does to your skin?
I guarantee you it's not just his gear that's torn. That barbed wire went straight through and cut his legs. I guarantee you.
You're right about that. Homicide definitely has to have cuts all over his body. Severed flesh in this one.
Whip and a reverse and Homicide up and over, upside down into that guardrail.
But look, he also landed in a strand of barbed wire, and he's getting wrapped in it as he rolls around.
Oh, it's a damn shame.
I think I see some lacerations on the body of Steve Corino as well. Homicide into the steel one more time.
Sick, disgusting, depraved human beings called Ring of Honor fans just want to see more. It's kind of ironic. They came here to see the most athletic wrestling in the history of the business, and they get a barbed wire match.
That wire has to be digging into the back of Homicide's knees right now. That could cut a ligament. Homicide's helpless. No, Corino's going to kill him. And Julius Smokes comes to the aid of Homicide.
Charlie the Grand right in the face of Julius Smokes.
No code of honor in this one, obviously, and Julius Smokes had to save his friend there. Oh, look at Corino going right for the nuts of Homicide.
He hit him low.
Oh, Homicide had to get out of that predicament. And look at Corino bleeding from the ear, bleeding from the forehead. A few minor cuts on his body. Homicide has to be bleeding all over his body after tasting a barbed wire. Also lacerated in the forehead. And we still haven't even seen that barbed wire table. I fear that the worst is yet to come in this one. I do have to mention real quick, we have to pay the bills around here. ROHWrestling.com, RFvideo.com, 215-891-9404 for all your wrestling video needs. Over 5,000 tapes from every promotion you can think of, every wrestler you can think of. ROHWrestling.com, RFvideo.com.
Corino sent into the corner. Why would you do that to yourself?
That's how much Homicide hates Steve Corino. He's willing to sacrifice himself to cause more damage to Corino.
He can't even get out of the barbed wire.
That is how much Homicide hates this man. Steve Corino hates Homicide so much that he's willing to risk everything, his Japan career, to be in this match, to even the score against Homicide, to get one up on him. One of the most legendary feuds in ROH history is going to end right here, and I hope it ends soon, or else both men are going to have their careers ended in this one. Look at Homicide, he's positioning that table.
I almost can't watch this anymore.
I agree with you, Punk.
I know what's going through both men's heads. The sight of your own blood it does something to you. Trust me.
What a violent weekend it's been for ROH. First that steel cage match he had against Raven last night, and now this. Uh-oh.
Homicide hooks Corino for a suplex.
The table's coming in play. No, Corino blocks it. Corino saves his career. No. Homicide blocks that. Homicide blocks it. Headbutt.
And that's a telltale picture right there. The pain etched on Steve Corino's face.
Corino T-bone suplex through the table, wrapped in barbed wire. The barbed wire once again piercing the flesh of Steve Corino. Cover.
You know, I want to take a minute right now to address some fans that may criticize Ring of Honor, because Ring of Honor is supposed to be about athletic contest and wrestling as an art form. But you got to understand, you get a locker room full of different-minded individuals like these two. Kamikaze!
Cover, could be all over. No, who's going to win?
What's going to happen when you get a locker room full of guys like this? It looks like Corino's going for the Cobra hold.
This is what he defeated Homicide with at the second anniversary show.
Let me spit this out, Lovey.
Go ahead.
You get a locker room full of guys as diverse as the Ring of Honor locker room, and everybody's so talented, and everybody has the ability to be a champion, and they wind up not liking each other. And tempers flare, and feuds develop, and this is, unfortunately, the only way to solve them.
You know what? I can't say I agree that it needs to end this way. I'm having a hard time even watching this now. I mean, does it really have to get this far?
Relationships develop in Ring of Honor, and unfortunately, sometimes shaking hands isn't going to do it. Looking a guy in the eye and saying, hey, you know what? You got me this time. Ace Crusher by Homicide.
Hook the leg.
Cover.
He barely escaped.
I'm almost hoping this one ends soon.
Sometimes it just doesn't cut it. Sometimes you just can't suck it up. You hate somebody so much, you can't look them in the eye and say you're the better man. You just want to hurt them. You want to put them out so they never have the chance to beat you again.
Well, you speak from experience there, CM Punk, after. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Oh my God. That hit Steve right in the head. We might have to stop it. Mike Keener, who was brought in for the show because he's an expert at these barbed wire matches, and he has to make a judgment call. He might have to stop this one.
Homicide doesn't know he's out. I think Corino's hurt. Corino's hurt.
That guardrail hit Corino.
You know, Colby's watching. He's 6 years old. Colby's watching this.
It hit him flush in the head.
He's out.
I don't know if I want to call this anymore.
I'm going down there.
Punk, where you going? Why is Punk leaving? Ray Morrow's joining me now.
I've been watching this. I'm almost speechless at what I'm seeing here.
I think I'm going to vomit after this match, to be honest with you, Ray. This is just sickening.
I mean, this is going beyond the bounds of professional wrestling, beyond the bounds of Ring of Honor.
And what are the young boys in Chuck LeGrand doing now?
They're setting up something. They got that guardrail that was in there, and they're placing it on four chairs there. Another weapon.
Julius Smokes trying to make the save, kicked out of the ring. And this looks very, very bad right now. Julius Smokes chasing Chuck LeGrand down. What's Corino doing? A Northern Lights bomb through that elevated guardrail. They went through the steel mesh. Careers are going to shorten. Careers could end right here tonight in Boston in the first ever, and I hope only ever, no rope barbed wire match in Ring of Honor.
And both these guys laying prone.
I can't believe they're getting up.
This is nothing but a contraption of death here with this barbed wire and all these objects and everything.
The double shot weekend, a weekend of grudge matches. And we saw it with Raven and Punk last night, and Corino irate. We're seeing it with Corino and Homicide. It's about careers ending.
and you were right in the beginning. This is definitely changing the scope of Ring of Honor, a match like this.
He's already hurt. Just beat him. He's hurt. Just beat him.
I mean, this is the showdown right here.
All right, I have to put my personal feelings aside and just call this one now, because it has to end soon. It just has to. Homicide now.
Oh, baseball slide.
Takes out the legs of Corino. Shining Wizard, Corino down.
This could be it. Go for the cover. No. That's the F.
This is what made Chuck LeGrand throw in the towel. Bitter friends, different enemies. Corino with that injured neck and shoulder. Homicide trying to wrench it in. Chuck LeGrand might have to throw in the towel again.
What, has he got a towel? He's going to that bag. What does he have?
I bet you he's got a towel. I bet you he's going to throw it in again because Corino's got nowhere to go.
Throw it in. Wait a second. The hell's that?
It's rubbing alcohol.
My God, Lovey.
Rubbing alcohol right into the eyes of Homicide. And look at Corino. It's going into all the open wounds on Corino's body, and it's stinging Corino too. But the goal was accomplished. The hold was broken.
And wait, we got a skirmish on the outside.
Oh, it's breaking down. Julius Smokes and Chuck LeGrand going at it. The young boys looking on.
I can't believe what we're seeing here.
Corino now getting to his feet, running on pure instinct at this point. So is Homicide in a clothesline. Cover!
Oh, 1 count.
I can't believe it. What are these two men going to do to each other? What's it going to take?
Corino, look, he's got him in a pile driver. Dropped him on top of his head. Is he going? Yes, for another one, and he hits it.
He could go for a pin.
Homicide might be out. That's 2 pile drivers after everything he's taken. And LeGrand on the outside, he's got a piece of that barbed wire.
And he's giving Corino those protective gloves. Why is Corino putting on those protective gloves?
Probably the only logical thing I see tonight. But there's going to be some damage done here. That's barbed wire. And you can hear him screaming. Homicide screaming in agony. He's being wrapped up in that barbed wire.
Oh my God. He's gonna kill Homicide right here. He's got it around Homicide's throat.
Oh my God.
He's got that Cobra Sleeper on.
With barbed wire.
Yeah, that barbed wire could puncture the throat of Homicide. In fact, it is puncturing the throat of Homicide. Homicide, how can he escape this? There's no escape.
There is none. There's no escape from this.
Give it up, Homicide. Give up. Save your career and give up right now.
Well, wait a second.
Smokes is thinking about it. He's got to. Homicide's telling him not to. Homicide saying don't throw it in. But, he turns him over. He's got the legs wrapped around him. There's no possible escape for Homicide. Throw in the towel, please.
And that's it. The towel. Throw it in. Thankful.
Julius Smokes had no choice.
And there's
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here live at the Ring of Honor All Japan Final Battle 2003. And you're about to see Satoshi Kojima lock up with Homicide in the 3rd encounter of 4 between the Ring of Honor and All Japan stars. Damn, I'm good.
That was a pretty decent introduction there.
God, what can I do? Seriously, if I can't do it, it can't be done.
I guess you could do it all. You're already victorious tonight. Look at the mood you're in. I don't know why, but as we see Kojima and Homicide squaring off here, this is possibly Homicide's most important match here in Ring of Honor. And look at Kojima jawing with Julius, the devil's son-in-law, Smokes there. And it looks like Chris Lovey's here to join us. Chris Lovey's back.
Well, I'm just back for a second because I'm going back into the crowd. It's just electric in this building. What a chop by Homicide. But anyways, I'm here for a quick scoop. You saw Loki in the corner of Homicide. You're probably asking yourself, what the hell's going on here?
No, but go ahead. I'm sure you're going to tell us.
I will tell you what happened earlier today. Loki, who is still out with injury, he had a sit-down with Homicide. He showed his trainer, Homicide, the proper respect. The two made up. The Ring of Honor told Homicide, hey, bring out in your corner whoever you want for this match. Homicide wanted Loki and Monster Mac, formerly the Hit Squad, in his corner for this match. It's great seeing Loki and Homicide showing the respect to each other again. That's Homicide hitting the ropes there. And Punk, all right,
are you here a commentator?
I'm going back in the crowd. This is great, but Punk, I gotta say, I can't believe what kind of a subdued mood you're in after what happened with the prophecy in the first half of the show.
I was telling Ray over here earlier, I'm just a big teddy bear. I know what happened to Lucy now. I know exactly who I have to hurt. So it's them who should be worried, not me. Homicide goes for the prettiest dive. in pro wrestling, in my opinion at least. Kojima takes a breather. Can you leave now, please? Seriously.
I think I am going to leave. And, of course, you're no stranger to Homicide. What a great match you guys had at Round Robin Challenge 2. I'll leave it at that. It's just great to see Homicide and Low-Ki together again. Take it away, Ray.
Well, thank you for that information, Lovey. As you see Kojima making friends with the fans here in Philadelphia. And the fans really getting behind Kojima here.
You know, I think the All Japan Superstars are going to get on their plane to go home to Japan, and they're going to find that Kojima's still in Philadelphia.
It's possible.
Look at him. He loves it here.
He's almost as over as Philadelphia's favorite son, Rocky, with the reaction he's getting here by the fans here. Have you ever seen an outside competitor here in Ring of Honor getting such a reaction, Punk?
Certainly not.
As Homicide goes for a go-behind, Kojima powering his way out. And what an important match for both these guys, but especially now for Kojima. All Japan down 0-2. This is a must-win situation for Satoshi Kojima.
It certainly is.
And Homicide with a nice reversal there.
You said earlier it was the Homicide's biggest match in Ring of Honor. Dare I say this is Homicide's biggest match in his career?
You might be right there. I think you're right. And a nice kick there.
He's staying on Kojima's arm now.
He's got to stay on him. Because Kojima, he can hit you, he can level you out of nowhere. This man is definitely one of the most powerful men in professional wrestling, not in Japan, but throughout the whole world. This guy is a monster.
Well, look at the size difference between these two men, though. Once they're on their feet, I mean, obviously, right now, look at the size difference.
There's probably about a 50-pound size differential there.
Well, that's something that Homicide has to contend with.
And what is going on between Kojima and Smokes? Kojima just tell him to suck it? I don't even know what to call on that one there, Punk.
Julius Smokes is definitely a character, isn't he?
That's right. If Kojima's ever experienced anybody quite like him, I don't think so.
Certainly not.
As these two guys go for a test of strength, but Kojima with two big kicks to the abdomen and a devastating chop followed by another. Well, in Homicide, these guys hit each other tooth and nail. Oh, thumb to the eye.
And look at Homicide. He's mad. He's almost more mad that he didn't think of it first. I was talking earlier about the size difference, but the size of Homicide's heart is no different than Kojima's. That's why this makes this match so much interesting.
You're exactly right about that. What a year it's been for Homicide. As Kojima has Homicide in the corner, going for a face wash. He doesn't understand.
Wait a minute, what does he mean he doesn't understand? How can he not understand?
He's Japanese. He just spoke English, Punk.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is that they count in English in Japan anyway.
Pro wrestling is pretty universal here. I think Kojima's trying to pull the wool over the eyes of referee Paul Turner right there, and the fans here.
He thinks Homicide's stupid because he's Puerto Rican. That's what's going on.
What? What does that have to do with it?
I didn't. It's not me. It's Kojima.
And look at these stiff chops. This is strong style wrestling at its finest.
These two are still just feeling each other out.
Feeling each other out. They're leveling each other, Punk.
These right hands.
It's going to break his jaw. And Homicide returns the thumb to the eye right there. Nicely done.
Oh!
And I think Homicide, the notorious 187, could be a little pissed off here.
You know, some guys would get in the ring with a wrestler the caliber of Kojima and be a little bit maybe tentative. Not Homicide.
No, not at all. He's going full throttle right here, and we could have a German suplex.
Homicide's on his feet. Drop kick.
And he caught him right in the jaw.
Kojima's to the floor. Here we go.
What a beautiful suicide tope.
Listen to this crowd. I can't get enough of it.
The fans in Philadelphia rising to their feet. What incredible action we are seeing. And Kojima, he could be in a little trouble. This is Homicide's domain on the floor. As Kojima just met the rail. Well, wait a second. Oh! Belly to belly. He landed on top of his head on the concrete.
Referee right in there. He's out.
He's out. Oh, look at Homicide. Go back to him. He could be glassy. Look at that.
The ref's got to check him, Ray.
Yeah, I don't think Homicide, he quite knows where he's at. Is he even conscious? And Kojima taking a picture.
That's why they're high-risk maneuvers. And you want to tangle on the outside, there's something like that can happen.
And Kojima toying with the crowd a little bit, but this isn't a toying situation. This is very serious. Homicide, did you see the impact that his head hit the concrete?
He's slow to his feet. Look how slow he's moving.
And I've seen Homicide take some unbelievable moves, especially throughout this year, 2003, and he gets right back up.
Paul Turner's got to make a judgment call on this one. Homicide is groggy.
I have never seen Homicide down from a move quite like that. He's groggy. I don't think he has his wits with him. He could be knocked unconscious. He could be knocked out on his feet pump.
Yeah, but he surprised me right there with...
Well, you said it.
Slow. He's slowed down.
Very slow. He's still got that heart. He could be running on instinct, as he might be going for a desperation face wash.
He hits his running Shining Wizard in the corner.
And Kojima looks like he's rocked, but look, Homicide's down. You're right. This could be a serious situation.
Paul Turner's got to check his eyes. He's got a concussion.
He's using those ropes to get. Look, he couldn't even get a full snap mirror right there. As did you see when he snap mirrored him, he dropped right to his knees.
I don't think Homicide has been fully erect on his feet. There he goes. He's back to his feet.
He's back up. Look at that. There doesn't seem to be a lot of strength behind that choke.
I think he definitely got knocked for a loop, but he's still in the fight. Homicide's not going to give up.
No, not at all. No, definitely not. Desperation boot right there. I don't think he should go to the top. Well, he didn't.
He's trying to win this match. He needs to.
He needs to get this over real quick. And I'll tell you what, if you're at a disadvantage, I wouldn't want to be in the ring with Kojima.
Certainly not.
Oh, this bodes to be very bad for Homicide right here. He's out. And Kojima going to the top rope.
And he scores with the elbow. Yeah, it does not look good for Homicide at this point.
2.5, he kicks out. And that weight advantage, definitely an advantage on a move like that. Driving that elbow right into the head of Homicide. And he's already groggy. Yeah, I think the referee maybe should be checking him out. Punk, this doesn't look good here. Homicide is down. And again with the boot. What's he going for?
Swinging DDT.
Almost on instinct, though. 2.5, not enough.
He's somewhere else right now. It's hard to explain. It's just from watching Homicide in the ring for so long, he's not even moving like Homicide.
We've seen him come back from so much this year, but this is definitely different.
Oh, once again on his head. He's normally so quick.
He couldn't even brace for that impact there, as his head took the brunt of that as it snapped. Did you see that?
And Kojima's calling for the lariat.
Oh, if he hits this.
Did you know that Kojima was taught the lariat by Stan the Man Hansen?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, see? You think you know everything. Who's a genius? I am. Thank you very much.
That's some good information there. And Kojima waiting for Homicide to get to his feet.
Homicide's in a different world right now.
Maybe he should just stay down. I don't know.
He catches it.
He's got him hooked. DDT there. I think he's going for the ace crusher, but Kojima too big. There he is.
That's a move Kojima likes to use a lot too. Calls it the Koji cutter.
Wow, Punk, you're full of the information now. Pretty impressed here.
I'm the smartest man alive, Ray Morrow.
Possibly. I don't know. You're showing me a lot, though. Plus, you want to know, and you won the match for Ring of Honor, so I cannot deny you tonight.
Oh, there's some good looks. There's the Koji Cutter.
The Koji Cutter rocking Homicide. And Kojima is all business here in ROH.
Homicide still got it in him.
But not much on that kick out.
He still wants to win.
Uh-oh, and he's taking off that elbow pad. This could be that lariat. Homicide in a whole hell of a lot of trouble here, Punk. He's got a duck.
He boots the arm. He hits his own Koji Cutter. He's going back to the fundamentals. What works?
Homicide with a desperation Koji Cutter right there. Look at the leg. But still not enough.
Homicide doesn't have his wits about him to capitalize on this.
And the fans trying to get this action. I think that they sense that Homicide's in a whole lot of trouble.
Under their feet. Oh!
What a lariat that was! Oh, and he kicked out.
Homicide kicked out of Koji.
Wow, I can't believe he kicked out. I mean, he's running on pure instinct, Punk. I don't know if that's the smartest maneuver to do, but so much on the line here. And another lariat. Almost like an axe crusher there. And that's it. Satoshi Kojima is victorious.
The world title match is underway. The ROH World Champion Samoa Joe against the challenger, the returning notorious 187 Homicide. And Homicide wearing a cap and kind of throwing Joe off a little bit. Joe demanding to be taken off. And look at Joe, definitely distracted by that cap, perhaps a psych-out job by Homicide. Homicide mysteriously missing the last two shows. And the last time we saw him at the Last Stand in Baltimore in January, oh, look at that, he's jumping Joe right now. But Homicide just walked out of the building and said his ROH career might be over. He then sent Smokes to challenge Joe. Joe took out Julius Smokes. That's why J-Train's not here right now. And Homicide has made his return. We don't know where he was. But what we do know right now is he's got this world title match against Samoa Joe. And it's starting off hot and heavy right here. A long history between these two men. A lot of hatred between them. SDF attempt. No, Joe avoids it. Joe gets an SDF of his own. Hot start right here in this heated world title match. Definitely both men trying to psych each other out. Big boot right there stops Homicide and that kick. Homicide rolls to the floor. Homicide and Samoa Joe. It goes back to do or die. And look at Homicide. This isn't an anything goes match. That chair is not legal. And as I say, May 31st, 2003, do or die. That was the first world title match between these two, and Joe almost had to kill Homicide in that one. Many feel if Homicide wasn't distracted by Loki and Julius Smokes arguing at ringside, he would have been world champion. Then Empire State Showdown, October 25th, 2003. Non-title match. Homicide, he had the noose around the neck of Samoa Joe and choked him out to win. He almost killed Samoa Joe there. In fact, in the promo that we saw in the opening of this tape, Homicide said he only let go because he just wanted to prove he could beat Joe. And look at Homicide throwing the stairs at the fans. Wow, this is a whole different side of Homicide. Those fans were kind of taunting Homicide, and I guess you just don't do that. But I can't get into the whole history of Homicide Samoa Joe. It really goes back to 2002. It includes those riots in 2003. And now we're seeing the next chapter right here. Samoa Joe was almost ducking Homicide for a while, but with the emergence of the Pure title, Joe said, I'm not going to duck any challengers. I'm taking all on everybody, including I will be the first ROH World Champion to defend the title on consecutive nights. And that's what he plans on doing right here in St. Paul. And if he retains the title tomorrow night in Chicago, he'll have Matt Striker. Joe now, he's got Homicide down. Homicide trying to cover up. Joe, though, with those cross bases. And that one connects, and another one connects. Homicide showing telling people how much he hates Joe. It'll be real interesting to see what happens in this one. Homicide said he's out for blood. Before he just wanted to beat Joe. This time he won't let go of the noose like he did at Empire State Showdown. He wants to avenge his friend, his manager, Julius Smokes. Look at that stretch by Samoa Joe. Very unique. That Pure title has brought out another side of Samoa Joe, too, as he is determined to make sure that the world title remains the most prestigious belt in ROH. And by defending it against someone like Homicide, and then if he retains against someone like Matt Striker tomorrow night, he's going to prove that. Of course, the Pure champion, AJ Styles, who won that great tournament at the second anniversary show, unable to be here this weekend. And right now, Homicide has Joe backed into the ropes. Big shot. Oh, and look at Joe. It's going to take more than that to hurt Joe. Both men having words for each other. Another big shot. What an exchange between these two. Can you feel the hatred? Oh, and look who's back. How's your stomach, Punk?
Yeah, that's cute, Lovey. You know, apparently, I can't rest after my match with American Dragon, and Artie, the guy that's in your earpiece, said that if I don't come back out here and finish the job I signed on to do and complete the show, that I wasn't going to get paid.
Please, you just love the mic time. Don't give me that.
So when you see Artie and he's got 2 black eyes and a bunch of chipped teeth, that's what happens when you talk back to CM Punk.
And once again, for the second time, you disgusted me and all the fans by attacking Ricky Steamboat. A nice little swerve there with Colt Cabana saying he was going to the hospital.
Wasn't that great?
You better believe that you better watch out for Steamboat when he makes his Ring of Honor return in May.
Yeah, I'm sure Steamboat's going to he's probably too afraid to show up in Chicago tomorrow, right?
He's not booked tomorrow. He had another commitment.
Yeah.
But he will be there May 15th in Boston, May 22nd in Philadelphia, and June 24th in Baltimore, so you better watch out. But Punk, this isn't time for you to cut a promo. This is world title time. Homicide, Samoa Joe, one of the hottest rivalries in ROH history, and it's heating up right here in St. Paul.
And apparently Homicide didn't read the chapter in his Pro Wrestling Handbook about headbutting Samoans.
Homicide, those headbutts had no effect, but these two have really been striking each other hard. And look, you can see the welts on Samoa Joe's forehead, and yet it had little or no effect on Samoa Joe. And Joe in the ropes. I really want to talk about that Steamboat attack more, but I got to stay focused on this world title.
Yeah, stay focused on this. Now, I guarantee you never see Steamboat here again if he doesn't show up tomorrow.
He'll be back in May.
Yeah, he'll be back in May. Thought he was supposed to show. He had prior commitments. He's committed to his dialysis machine, sitting at home.
I'm putting all my attention on this match now. The world title is at stake. Samoa Joe, he defeated Jay Briscoe in that bloodbath steel cage match last show to be ROH World Champion for 1 year. Can he make it past his 13th month as ROH World Champion? And he's got a tall order this weekend with Homicide, and then if he makes it past him, Matt Striker. Oh, big running forearm.
Like a freight train. Homicide looks like he's trying to score with a whole bunch of stuff that normally doesn't work against Joe. He's trying to suplex him. He's trying to headbutt him.
Oh, he gets plated with that sidewalk slam.
He takes to the air, and he comes up short.
Huge tope by the big man.
Joe taking a completely unnecessary risk.
Well, when you're dealing with Homicide, nothing's unnecessary. You should know that after your matches against Homicide. What a match you guys had at Round Robin Challenge 2 and The Last Stand.
But Joe's beat Homicide before. He's pinned him clean in the ring. He doesn't need to be flying around.
The last meeting, Homicide won. Whoa, Homicide dumped up over the guardrail.
Yeah, if he's not careful, he's gonna hit one of those lights and send it toppling over.
Ooh, did you hear that thud?
Joe heard it. Look at the look on his face.
Of course, no countouts here in ROH if they're out there for too long. Paul Turner can DQ him, but it's going to take a lot for a world title match to end in a disqualification.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to happen.
Right now, Homicide getting tossed into the ring by Samoa Joe, the ROH World Champion. He brings prestige to that title with every passing defense. He makes history with every passing defense. Can he make it to 13 months as ROH World Champion?
Paul Turner in good position right there by the shoulders of Homicide, counting the pinfall. Nice backbreaker by Samoa Joe.
Let me ask you something, though. Real quick, I got to ask you, how's that stomach going to be for tomorrow night?
His stomach's going to be fine for tomorrow night, don't worry.
And look at that, a grab right there.
And doubly painful is the Samoa Joe special.
Oh, he is just sitting back on it. That is unnatural. Look at Homicide with those heel kicks to the head. Gets out of it. Beautifully done by Homicide, but his lower back is in a world of pain.
He's opening up all kinds of stuff for Joe to do to him here.
Boy, this match has been non-stop since the beginning. Both men putting it all on the line. No feeling out process in the early going.
Oh, these men have been in the ring with each other so many times, there doesn't need to be a feeling out process. And you know what's coming here, Lovey.
This is one of the hottest, fastest growing rivalries in Ring of Honor.
Somebody's got a dirty face.
The fans here in St. Paul loving it as they have all night. They finally got to see ROH live as ROH is reborn.
Homicide's going to need a facelift if he gets one more of them.
Could you imagine if Ring of Honor is reborn with a new world champion?
Now, that'd be something to talk about, wouldn't it?
And it could very well be Homicide, the MVP of Ring of Honor in 2003. One great match after another. In fact, practically every show he wrestled on, he stole the show. Too many great matches to list. So many classics, one after another. He would make a proud champion, no doubt about that.
Joe now trying to wear down Homicide. Homicide gets these bursts of speed and energy in the ring, and I don't know where he gets it from, but apparently Joe goes on to him here.
He is trying to wear down Homicide with that modified Dragon Sleeper. Homicide struggling to get out of it. Of course, as you mentioned, Homicide does get those adrenaline bursts. Very dangerous when he does. Homicide, he wants to hit the cop killer. Joe, you have to watch out for the island driver or the choke or the muscle buster. And Joe has to watch out for those double knees to the head, and the champion is down.
That's too late now. See if Homicide can capitalize on this. Nice short neck breaker.
Cover.
Once again, Paul Turner in great position right by the shoulders of Joe. Homicide needs to hook a leg, though. Homicide's not big enough to win off a lateral press on a guy Samoa Joe's size.
Oh, big power driver drops all Joe's weight right on his neck and head. Cover!
He collapsed right on him.
Joe, luckily near the rope, saves his title, perhaps. And look at Homicide. He looks a little puzzled. He thought that he could have gotten a 3 there.
Homicide?
You saw that look in his eye. He's wondering what it's going to take next.
Thinking the count's questionable.
Big kick to the back.
And he's putting all his weight on Joe right now. He's riding him.
And see, he's trying to cut off the oxygen supply to the big man.
Definitely.
And look at Joe. He's turning purple. He is cutting off that oxygen supply. Joe could be out here.
Hey, in a way, it's almost like that noose back in New York.
And Homicide said he's not going to let go this time. Oh, and Joe reaches the ropes, once again saving himself with those ropes. And that's something, if he was a pure champion, he might not be able to do.
No, don't bring that up around Joe. Joe hates that title.
And look at those quick chops.
Here we go for the island driver. No. Homicide is enziguri by Homicide. Sends Joe all the way to the floor.
Beautiful. Tope con hilo scores. You know what's interesting? That's only the 3rd dive we've seen tonight.
Oh, Homicide hits that every single chance he gets.
Normally you see a lot more dives on a Ring of Honor show.
Homicide comes through those ropes with such velocity. I honestly, I can't describe it. It seems like a bullet leaving a gun.
You felt that tope con hilo before.
Many times.
That'll knock the wind right out of you. And look at Joe. He is dazed, but he reverses that on Homicide. Hard into the steel. They've seen it on the home releases. Now the fans get to do it live. The old lay kick.
Joe didn't even bother to take the time to seat Homicide that time. He just outright kicked him in the ear.
Maybe that's a sense of urgency from Samoa Joe right there. These two have been going at a breakneck speed since the very beginning of this match. Homicide tastes that steel barricade one more time.
You know, there's no chance that Paul Turner's going to call this for these guys being outside too much. So the longer Homicide stays out here, the worse it's going to be for him. Joe's going to take him apart back here, and he's going to pin what's left of him as soon as he gets it back in the ring. That's the third Olay kick, or is that the second?
That's Olay kick number 2.
That is the second Olay kick.
And the fans here in St. Paul, what a show they witnessed, what a debut as ROH becomes reborn. And they are loving it right now. Homicide in the world of trouble, though.
Paul Turner looks like he's pleading with Joe to get him back in the ring.
Yeah, you're right about that. Homicide, though, it looks like that world title is slipping from his grasp right now unless he mounts some serious offense in a hurry.
Joe don't have to beat Homicide. Homicide has to beat Joe. Joe could take the DQ, but that's not his style.
No, in fact, he wants to raise that prestige of the world title even more so than ever because of the pure title. He does not want that pure title to catch up to the world title. He has a big issue with that pure title. Whipping corner to corner. Homicide catches Joe, saves himself once again. Swinging DDT scores.
Can Homicide make the cover?
Not quite.
Once again, just a lateral press. He's got to hook those big legs.
And don't forget, it only takes a 3 count.
Every single match
3 seconds.
Every single match is 3 seconds away from being over.
Homicide's 3 seconds away from wearing that belt. You know he wants that belt more than anything in the world. Tries again. This time Joe shoves him off. Oh, a big chop. Oh, Joe just dumps him in the corner with that over-the-head belly-to-belly.
Look at the pain etched all over the face of Homicide. Joe senses this is over.
What an athletic match we're witnessing.
Vintage Joe right here. Powerbomb.
Cover. Turns it over. Oh, Homicide gets out of the STF. Might have saved the match for himself. Big slap and a dragon screw.
Did you hear that slap?
And there's the STF. He's got it hooked. This is one of Joe's favorite holds to wear down an opponent for that choke.
Step over toe face lock. This is what won Masahiro Chono his first NWA heavyweight title.
And look at Homicide. He sees the ropes within his grasp. Can he make it? Can he reach? He's almost there. Yes. And look at Joe. Frustration on the face of Samoa Joe.
He needs to pull him right back in the center of the ring and apply the hold.
Did you see the chest of Samoa Joe heaving? He is getting worn down. He is tired. The longer this match goes, the more it seems to be favoring Homicide.
Joe set for what looks like to be a big lariat. He pinned one of the Briscoes with the lariat.
Homicide, though, taking his time, getting to his feet, getting his wind back.
Here we go.
Yes. Ace crusher. Joe staggered. Huge lariat. Both men down. Homicide. Yes, cover. New champion.
Joe barely escapes. And now I really got to wonder if Homicide would have hooked the leg. We might have a new champion here at Reborn Night 1.
Homicide might only be one move away from winning the world title. The champion is in trouble.
He's peeled off that elbow sleeve. He's going for a new lariat.
Uh-oh, here it is. If he connects, it's going to be all over. Oh, Joe blocks him. He's going for the choke. He's going for the choke. Oh, no. He blocks the suplex attempt. Oh, big knees. Roll up. Cover. 1, 2. Yes, 3 counts. Oh, hold on. What's going on? No, Turner is saying Samoa Joe kicked.
Look at Joe. Joe's desperate to find out if that was 2.
Paul Turner saying it's only 2.
Did the bell ring? Did the bell ring?
Yeah, I thought we had a new champion. And look at Homicide. He thought that was 3.
Did Turner signal for the bell?
Yes, he did. Homicide thinks he won.
Nope, he's saying it's 2.
Did Joe kick out? I think he did. I'm not sure, though. I thought we had the 3. I'm real confused. And look at Homicide.
He kicked out. If Turner says he kicked out, he kicked out.
Oh, look at the look on Homicide's face. He thought that he had the world title. He knows that he had the world title. Look at that look on his face. Oh, he just hit Turner. Homicide just snapped. Joe with a big boot. And what? There's no referee.
Joseph, what?
The lights are out. What's going on here?
I can't see anything.
What is going on? The lights. I mean, oh my God. Oh my God. What was Homicide just fireball Joe?
Homicide has just absolutely crossed the line. Somebody's at.
Look at this scumbag!
I can understand one thing about being emotional. Then 1 second thinking you're the world champion and realizing that you're not.
Homicide is snapped. Homicide thought he had the world title, and where did that fireball come from?
Look at the crowd.
They're shocked. I am shocked. And
Hanson's down.
He hits Hanson. He hits Brian Gory. Empty the back. Get the locker room out here. Homicide's gonna kill someone. And Homicide, he's cleaning house. The locker room is empty. Someone's gonna treat Samoa Joe. Hey, CM Punk.
Yeah, Chris Lovey.
You know, I got to, in the weeks before this match, I was really looking forward to it. But after what happened last night in St. Paul, I kind of have mixed feelings looking at Homicide in the ring right now.
Homicide snapped last night. There's no two ways about it. Let's not mince words. The man freaked out. He feels he was robbed of a world title.
Did you see just throw the ring bell at the fans?
Yeah, but it was okay. Because those were the fans that were from Indiana.
Definitely, there's something different about Homicide.
There's nothing different about Homicide. Everything about Homicide's the same. He's just letting it out. Homicide's always been this way. But like I say, yeah, see, he snapped.
Well, we do have a dream match right here. Bryan Danielson in the blue against Homicide. A different Homicide. I mean, a lot of questions need to be answered after last night. Homicide, he thought that he had the world title won. When Paul Turner informed him he didn't, he beat up every referee in the building. Then the locker, or then the lights went out, and we don't know what that's all about. Who turned out the lights? How they were turned out? There's an investigation going on right now. And then Homicide threw a fireball at the ROH World Champion Samoa Joe. Something I never thought we'd ever see in Ring of Honor.
I don't even know how the hell you throw a fireball. Apparently Homicide does, though.
I don't know where it came from. It was pitch black in the building, or how he did it.
And he is a criminal. He is from Brooklyn.
And, I mean, Homicide, he had disappeared for a couple of months. We still don't know where he disappeared to or what he was doing. And in that time, Julius Smokes challenged Joe to a title match, and Samoa Joe took out Julius Smokes. That's why he's not here tonight. That's why he wasn't there last night. And you hear the fans with those dueling chants. But, I mean, and then he tore up the entire backstage area last night. And we couldn't even have any post-show promos. And just a very scary scene, a very disturbing scene last night. And even we saw it on Samoa Joe's ring with Samoa Joe no-showed, and Samoa Joe still isn't at the building here tonight after getting burned. And Homicide even beat up that guy on Samoa Joe's ring when Bryan Danielson took over Samoa Joe's ring. So a very, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm almost speechless about the whole thing. But I guess, I mean, right now we do have a dream match here, a first time ever dream match with Bryan Danielson and Homicide.
And speaking of Samoa Joe, it looks like Danielson taking a bit of a page out of Joe's book right there.
You're right about that. And Bryan Danielson's definitely someone who wants to get at the world title picture too. And what's Homicide doing now? Throwing a chair in, and Bryan Danielson's not going to be intimidated. And Homicide going after the ringside table now. Look at everyone scurrying out of the way. What is going on with Homicide?
I don't know, but yeah, Danielson doesn't exactly have all his oars in the water either, if you know what I'm talking about.
You know, the last thing I expected to ever see touched in a match like this was a chair. Never mind the ringside table. Well, I mean, looking at another picture involving this match, huge ramifications on the top 5 rankings. And both these men want to get at the world title. Bryan Danielson's made that clear on a number of occasions. And Homicide, he thought he had it last night, and he snapped when he found out that he didn't.
Yes, it'll definitely be interesting to see who wins this and if they're going to get a world title shot because of it.
You're dealing kind of with a situation here where the winner of this match can be called the patriarch of ROH. You have Bryan Danielson. He was in those Match of the Years that made Ring of Honor on the first shows.
You got a point. I mean, Chris Daniels isn't around anymore because of me.
And Loki, he's made his star in Japan. That's where he is right now. I don't expect to see him back at all anytime soon in Ring of Honor. And so Bryan Danielson's the lone survivor out of that, the man who made ROH right there, and Homicide. I mean, even with this recent attitude, you can't take away what this man did in ROH in 2003. Definitely the MVP, one show-stealing match after another. Too many to even get into. I mean, literally, practically every show he stole. And right now, oh, look at Homicide. No clean break there.
Yeah, he steals a lot. Hubcaps, chains, wallets.
You better hope he doesn't hear you saying that.
Now he's just got a nice head scissors applied to Bryan Danielson. Cutting off the oxygen supply.
Both men definitely feeling each other out in this one. So much on the line.
And so far, a nice, slow, methodical pace out of both these grapplers here, except for the little tantrum Homicide threw.
Both men had grueling matches last night in St. Paul at ROH Reborn Stage 1. Bryan Danielson against yourself, and I'll give you credit. That match was a classic, a great match. Bryan Danielson, though, victorious.
That time he was. There'll be another time, though.
And look at Homicide. He is in a lot of pain right there. Danielson working on the legs. He's got them grapevines. And Homicide, even in pain, giving the finger to the fans. I mean, don't taunt Homicide.
Nice Muda lock applied.
Beautifully executed by Bryan Danielson. Everything the American Dragon does is so perfectly executed.
In the middle of the ring, he's got nowhere to go. Nice roll up.
Pin. Not quite enough.
Paul Turner making a good job, doing a good job making sure the shoulders are on the ground.
You know, Homicide wearing that taxi driver shirt is very appropriate. I mean, his actions last night remind me of the end of that movie Taxi Driver. And look at Danielson. He was ripping at the nose of Homicide. And now he's wrenching the neck.
Both men starting off in Ring of Honor on the same show.
I mean, you list the matches Homicide was in. The matches against you were great. The match against B.J. Whitmer at Main Event Spectacles, the 4-ways he was in, including Death Before Dishonor, the Samoa Joe matches at Empire State Showdown and Do or Die.
Well, conversely, what about Danielson?
I mean,
starting off round robin challenge, the first one against Daniels or against
Chris Daniels and Low-Key. Two great matches there. Low-Key match, which Danielson won, finishing very high in Match of the Year balloting, including all promotions. The 3-way on the first show, and I mean the list goes on and on and on with Bryan Danielson. Who can forget the epic encounter against Paul London?
12-27 against Jay Briscoe.
Great match after great match. And, I mean, who's the patriarch of ROH? I mean, the winner of this one could definitely claim that status.
This is definitely Ring of Honor history in the making. Reborn right here. Nice headlock takeover by Homicide.
And look at Homicide. He's trying to hook that arm in there so Danielson cannot use it for an escape. But Danielson using that forearm, grinding it into Homicide, reaching for the nose instead. But Homicide's a tough individual. It's going to take more than that to get him to release the hold. And he pays back Danielson by grinding that forearm in his forehead. And Danielson now trying the boots. We're seeing some great grappling going on. Almost a chess match.
3 seconds away from being over, though.
That's right. All it takes is 3 seconds. Or an abdominal stretch.
Or how about if I just punch you in the face?
Oh, you're getting a little angry there, Punk. Glad to see him.
I'm trying to watch this match. It's a learning experience. You should just shut your mouth and pay attention. The first man to make a mistake in this match, I think, is going to be on the losing end of it. Doesn't seem like neither man really wants to give an inch here.
Both men definitely being very cautious in their offense, but at the same time trying to wear down the other man.
Come on, Dragon.
Perhaps, like you said, the first man to make a mistake will be the loser, so both men trying to guard against that mistake. As you see the pain on Bryan Danielson's face. Homicide trying to stretch him. He's got the legs. He's got the face.
He's torquing on that leg. Danielson makes it to the ropes.
Paul Turner calling for the break.
I'm surprised Homicide broke without contesting that, without putting up a fight.
Just look at that look on Homicide's face. So, I mean, I've seen this guy intense before, but, I mean, never quite like this. I mean,
yeah, he's borderline psychopathic is what you're trying to say.
And he keeps pointing at those fans. They're definitely getting to him.
I'm sure he's got some kind of a fork somewhere on his body. He will go out there and, well...
He just threatened the fans. Did you see him raise his fist? I'm getting nervous just watching this.
I hope those fans have been modeling eye patches because one of them is going to wind up missing an eye.
Or they're hearing, just ask Steve CORINO about that. I mean, Homicide's been in intense situations. The no-rope barbed wire match, a War of the Wire, the Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies Match of the Year candidate against Steve CORINO. I mean, we've seen this guy get violent before. He is a dangerous individual. These fans better watch themselves. They're not just yelling at any wrestler in there. And look at that. That is just breaking the back of Homicide.
Nice Japanese stranglehold.
Wow. Those knees are just driving into the lower back of the notorious 187.
And Paul Turner doing a great job right there, checking for Danielson's shoulders, making sure they weren't on the mat.
And Homicide, nice escape, turning into an offensive position now as he's got Bryan Danielson in that hold.
Turner still in position, looking for a submission out of Danielson maybe.
Turner, he was in the middle of controversy last night with that Samoa Joe 3 count. Was it a 3 count? I don't think it was. Homicide thought it was, and something has snapped inside of Homicide as a result.
I'm a little surprised that Turner got this match with Homicide in it after Homicide decked him.
So I believe Homicide has been fined.
Fined? The fine's not going to pay Paul Turner's dental bill.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be completely impartial. So far, he's done a fantastic job.
Homicide going for some high-impact offense now. Well, Paul Turner, he has to be impartial because if he's not, just like the wrestlers right here, if you're not up to performance, you're going to be given your walking papers.
Yeah, but is the intimidation factor going to come into play here? Is Homicide punching him in the teeth last night going to come into play? Is he going to threaten Paul Turner, and is Paul Turner going to fold? You know, that would be my question. Nice neck breaker.
Homicide definitely trying to increase the impact of his offense now.
He definitely found a spot on Danielson he wants to work on. He's going to soften up that neck.
And now he is stretching the upper torso of Bryan Danielson. Paul Turner right on top of things. And it's so odd that Samoa Joe isn't even here yet. I mean, what's going to happen if Samoa Joe no-shows tonight in Chicago nonetheless?
Well, Joe was taken to the hospital last night after the match.
He was severely burned. Homicide, though, he walked right into the building, right into Samoa Joe's ring, hosted by Bryan Danielson tonight, and he said he's looking for Joe.
Nice sharp knee drop to the back of Danielson's neck and head.
And what? Oh.
Yep, I've seen this before.
He is, yes, slingshotting Daniels right into that bottom rope, and that is just a steel cable right there.
I believe that's an old Bob Orton or Adrian Adonis trick from back in the day. These fans won't quit. The ones from Indiana, I mean.
I wish they would quit, please. You don't want to set this guy off. We don't need any lawsuits or anything.
I'd love to see Homicide attack a fan.
Oh, my God, please. I mean, we had the riots in New York City, so I guess we have seen this side of Homicide before. Who will ever forget that at the first anniversary show?
It was always there. You just needed Paul Turner to just set it off.
Well, I really don't think Joe was down for a 3, but Homicide, he wants that world title so badly. He thought he had it, and when he found out he didn't, something just snapped in his head. And look at him. He's driving that knee right into the neck of Bryan Danielson.
Definitely. So far, highly athletic contest. You see the sweat just dripping off of Homicide here as Danielson just bulldozers him into the corner.
Big chops, but Homicide stops him with the finger to the eye.
I don't care how big you are, how hard you hit, you get thumbed in the eye, you will go down.
If you learn how to street fight, that's the first thing they teach you is go for the eyes. And now Homicide choking Danielson on the ropes.
That's still working that neck, using that top rope. It's not actually rope. There's a steel cable that runs in between those ropes.
And hold on, there's that tope con hilo. And there's that psychotic laugh by Homicide as he does not go for the tope con hilo.
Even got that big dude in the red shirt to get out of his seat. Now Homicide's in his element now.
He is oh no, this kind of match does not need a chair. When ROH signed this match, I did not think there'd be a chair involved. Oh, and he hits Danielson right in the neck with that chair.
Hey, you wanted to see the patriarch of Ring of Honor. This is what Homicide does. This is your boy right here.
Yeah, but he's taking it to another level. He's got the ring bell now.
Hey, you remember when Savage hit Steamboat in the throat with the ring bell?
Oh, Homicide right to the back of the neck and head with that ring bell. Oh, I've never seen Homicide this aggressive, and I've seen him aggressive before. And this is against a guy he doesn't even hate. Oh, Danielson moves, and Homicide just punched that steel.
Smart move by Danielson.
And Danielson's fighting fire with fire. If Homicide's going to be aggressive, so is Danielson. And he goes right for that hand.
Danielson's got that killer instinct suddenly.
But Danielson, he doesn't have both oars in the water either.
I told you.
Oh, ring bell on the hand. Danielson pays back Homicide.
You don't want to piss off Bryan Danielson. He loves to wrestle, but he will take it to you if he needs to. And Homicide's done pissed him off. Look at this. When's the last time you saw Danielson do this to anybody?
He's fighting fire with fire. Look at that look in his eye. He's got the serial killer look once again.
Yeah, I'm sure his mother must be proud of him.
And look at him attacking that hand. Twisting it. Homicide's going to have broken fingers at the end of this one.
Only won't be able to flick off the fans anymore, will he?
He's begging off. He's talking about smoking weed with Bryan Danielson. What's he doing? He is begging off. I can't believe Homicide. I've never seen him like this. I think Bryan Danielson's having some fun with it. And the Chicago fans are loving it.
Like I said, these fans have been starved for good wrestling for years.
And they are seeing a dream match right here. They've never seen two guys like Bryan Danielson and Homicide go at it live and in person. These fans, they've seen countless matches of these two on home video. They've never seen them live. And there's a boot to the head.
Well, he shook the man's hand, then he kicked him right in the mush.
And now he's leveling him with those European uppercuts.
Going for an Indian deathlock, and he gets it. Floats over. Almost gets him in a stretch plum type. He's going for the fingers again.
Yes, he is isolating that hand. Homicide is helpless, and look at him ripping, bending back on the fingers. There's so many small bones in that hand that can just snap so easily, and one of them might already be snapped.
Lovey, Homicide's got nowhere to go.
Has there ever been a submission on a hand submission in wrestling?
I'm sure somewhere in the annals of history it's happened.
Bryan Danielson, he's so unique, so original, and look at that. I mean, the wrist is even bending now. That whole hand might just snap.
Oh, Homicide quick to kick out of that one.
Come on, let go.
Come on, let go, he asks. Danielson's neck still got to be worn out from Homicide's previous attack, but looks like Homicide's a little worse for wear right now. Look at Homicide trying to ball his fist so Danielson can't get at his fingers.
Danielson just crying. No, Homicide gets to the ropes. He saves himself. Ooh, he just strikes the hand of Homicide. Now he's still tearing at it. I think Homicide, he at least has to... Oh, he tries a chop, bad move. He is feeling the pain.
And it didn't have any effect on Danielson whatsoever.
You got to figure there's got to be at least some dislocated joints in the fingers of Homicide right now.
Hey, the way he punched that guardrail on the outside, it could be broken. Look at him trying to get the tape off.
A knuckle could even pop out.
And I've had that happen before. It's not the most painful thing in the world. It's annoying.
Well, it's got to be painful if you got someone ripping at your hand the way Bryan Danielson is.
Yeah, definitely. He could have popped his wrist out right there. Or like I said, something could be broken.
Boy, I mean, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, he saw one mistake that Homicide made when he punched that guardrail, and since then, he's been like a shark smelling blood on that hand. All it took was that one mistake.
And listen to this crowd. It's almost split evenly down the middle. Homicide shoots Dragon in.
Homicide has to mount some offense soon.
Well, he's trying.
Enziguri.
He went for that body slam, but missed, connected with the Enziguri.
Danielson staggers outside the ropes. Oh, big drop kick. Danielson goes flying to the floor.
And here's the tope.
Perhaps Homicide, more desperate than he was before, goes for it now and connects. Both men down on the floor. Of course, no countouts in ROH, but if they're out there for too long, the referee can disqualify you.
Well, especially if both of them are out. Look, Danielson's still clutching at his head, his neck. And Homicide holding that right hand.
I still am in shock at what we saw last night. I've never seen anyone go as berserk as Homicide did backstage. All promos were canceled. Just complete mayhem in the ringside area. You're partly to blame for that.
Oh, blame me for everything.
You jumped the Briscoes, but backstage...
I made your taxes go up. Whatever.
Well, Homicide, he's definitely got a weak point with that hand. That's going to limit some of his offense.
Yeah, but the story after that tope is definitely Danielson's neck.
Danielson is in a lot of trouble. He is not showing a lot of signs of life right now.
Looks like Homicide going up.
He needs to connect with this.
Could be looking for his double stomp.
That hand definitely bothering him. Oh, this is a diving headbutt.
What the hell was he thinking?
Danielson going for a roaring forearm blocked. Ace crusher attempt blocked. Oh, the hand. And this time he connects with the roaring forearm cover. Almost had it. It only takes 3 seconds.
He had the inside leg hooked and everything. Homicide's a fighter, though. And he definitely came to Chicago to fight. Danielson hikes up his knee pads. Makes me think he's going to go for his headbutt in a couple minutes here. And I felt this last night. And let me tell you, it took all I had to not throw everything up I had in my stomach. But believe me, if I had to, I would have thrown up all over Steamboat.
Just like he did to you last night, CM Punk. What an airplane spin. How does he do it for that long? Both men dizzy, and he missed this headbutt against you last night.
Oh, Homicide already missed one. Danielson missed this last night. Let's see if he can score.
And he's still dizzy.
And he scored.
He's too dizzy, though, to go for the pin. There it is, but there's a delay. Cover! Not quite enough.
Danielson's got to capitalize. He's got to capitalize quick. He could be going for another one.
Yeah, he's going airborne again, going for the high impact.
Homicide's up. Homicide stops him and he punches it. It's instinctive.
Yep, and Homicide paid the price. You saw him shaking that hand out. Top rope Hurricanrana. And could it be that lariat?
He clobbered Joe with this last night. I don't know if this is a wise thing to do.
Oh, no.
And like I said, it's the bad hand.
Both men connect them. Both men go down.
We got a stalemate here.
We have a classic here in Chi-Town. You mentioned some of the great Chicago area historic matches at the beginning of the show. I think we're seeing another one right here.
Oh, there's a lot more classic matches that happen here in Chicago, but a lot of them have Steamboat involved. I didn't really want to mention it.
Well, the bottom line is this is a great wrestling town, great history, and Ring of Honor is adding to that history right here, and we're proud to do so. Oh, chop again on instinct, and Homicide pays the price. Danielson now with the advantage because Homicide chopped him and hurt his hand. And now Danielson just knocking him down with those European uppercuts.
Those are hard shots right to the chest and the jaw. Homicide whipped in. He takes the buckle. Hard forearm from Dragon.
Northern Lights cover.
Nice bridge. Not enough for a 3.
I think we're looking at one big move to win this match as both men are worn down. Both men are tired. And not only that, both men are in pain.
I think Danielson's got to stay on that hand.
Cattle mutilation maybe if he turns him over, or Dragon suplex. Homicide fighting for his life, gets out of it.
Homicide's on his feet.
Goes for the lariat, no. Pin. Not quite enough.
That's a nice try. Danielson's trying to go for quick pin attempts here, it seems. I think he's really got to stay on that hand. Conversely, Homicide's got to stay on Danielson's neck.
Both men seem to be going for more high-impact moves here. Perhaps they're getting a little impatient. There you go.
They're fatigued at this point. Danielson, tenacious with his wrestling on this hand.
It's going right back to the hand. Homicide in the world of pain.
Finally, we see a left from Homicide, who scores with the Yakuza boot.
You notice Homicide's lefts aren't nearly effective as his rights, though.
Well, he's not ambidextrous like me.
Danielson definitely taking away a weapon of Homicide right there by going after that hand.
The Homicide looks like he's going to the top rope one more time. You don't really see the notorious 187 climbing to the top this often.
Both men may be losing their patience. Very methodical in the early going. Now they're just going for the win as this match is becoming a very long match right now. And Danielson catches Homicide.
Big game of one-upmanship here. Like you said, it's on bragging rights for the patriarch of Ring of Honor.
Uh-oh. Homicide in a bad situation.
More damage was done to Danielson, I'm going to have to say, on that one.
Once again, maybe that impatience playing a factor. Both Danielson going for the home run hurt himself in the process.
A hurt hand's one thing, but if you're talking about an injured neck, it runs down the length of your spine. Your legs can go numb. You lose feeling in your hands.
And there you see the faces of those fans glued on this ring.
The atmosphere is electric in this place. Nice pile driver.
Perfectly executed. Cover!
He's too close to the ropes.
Yup. Not enough. But once again, that's more impact on the neck of Bryan Danielson.
He needs to stay on him. Paul Turner still doing a fantastic job in light of getting knocked out by Homicide last night.
All the refs got knocked out by Homicide, but Turner was in the middle of it.
Step over to a face lock.
And look at that, Homicide cannot lock his hands. He cannot lock his fingers there.
But this torques on the neck of Danielson. But you got to ask yourself exactly how much pull does Homicide have not being able to lock his hand like that?
Definitely not as effective as it normally would be. And Homicide's trying. He's trying to wrench it in.
Look at his hand. It's motionless. He can't close it.
His hand is swollen. Look at it. And yeah, he cannot get that hold and its full effectiveness because he cannot lock his fingers.
He's trying.
And Danielson is still definitely in pain. I mean, this is a move that definitely works on the neck. And to think if Homicide could lock the fingers, Danielson might have to tap, or he might even pass out from the pain, but instead he makes the ropes.
Homicide holding it all the way to 5. Trying to get the littlest bit out of it, everything he can.
Danielson, you see him kind of grabbing at the neck a little bit. Oh, you don't think maybe a cop killer? That would definitely be the end for Bryan Danielson.
Oh, certainly.
Danielson yet to be able to get cattle mutilation.
Homicide goes for that lariat.
Oh, he might have spoke too soon.
Speak of the devil.
But you know what? Bryan Danielson, you need strong neck muscles to keep this hold. And he's got it. He's got it cinched. Let's see if he can hold it. Can Homicide hold on? This is a battle of will right now. No, Danielson could not keep the hold because of his neck.
He's got a strong neck, but it's not that strong.
It suffered way too much abuse tonight. And Homicide gets out of it. And now he's going for the cop killer. He's got him hooked. He's turning him over. It's all over. No, Danielson out of it.
That was so close. Dragon suplex.
And hold on, what's... Oh, look at Homicide almost distracting Paul Turner. A low blow. I can't believe it. He said he'd do anything to win. Oh, takes off Danielson, a lariat to the neck.
That's all she wrote.
Julius Smokes in his corner, and after what happened to Samoa Joe last week at Reborn Completion, when these Rottweilers laid him out, Loki standing on Samoa Joe, holding up the ROH title belt and mocking him by saying the champ is here. Samoa Joe has to keep an eye on all those guys on the outside. And there's Julius Smokes, already trying to pose a distraction, and Homicide taking advantage of it. We're underway. Homicide's last shot at Samoa Joe's world title.
Boy, Samoa Joe looks as focused as I've seen him. And trust me, when you've been his champ as a long time.
And there's Rocky Romero posing a distraction.
How many guys does Samoa Joe have to wrestle tonight?
This is absolutely ridiculous.
You've got to clear this ringside area a little bit.
This cannot go on. Rep Hansen having his hands full in this one as Joe whips into the ropes. And what's Loki doing? This is enough already. Rep Hansen has to do something. As now Homicide connecting with a Yakuza boot. There is no way Samoa Joe can beat all 4 of these men. Joe is down.
Why don't you just clear the ringside area? That's what I understand. Why are you going to allow that?
And what's Hansen doing?
Get back in there. What are you doing?
And it looks like he heard you, Mark Nolte.
He's ejecting them.
We are going to see a one-on-one world title match.
Well, and that's the way it should be.
You know what, though? The Rottweilers don't listen to authority.
Well, they will if it means Homicide would get disqualified.
And that's what Hansen is saying. Hansen is saying Homicide will be DQ'd. This is Homicide's last shot at the world title. Look at Homicide. He might attack Hansen, but he knows that this is it for him. He wants that belt more than anything.
Well, Homicide needs to gain his composure because he's one cheap shot away from watching his world title dreams go down the drain.
And Homicide is telling the Rottweilers to leave. They will listen to Homicide. They will not listen to anybody else. They spit in the face of authority.
Well, Jimmy, let me ask you something. If Homicide is so sure that he should be the champion, why does he need 17 guys at ringside?
Well, he doesn't have them now. Homicide told him to leave, and Homicide and Samoa Joe are going toe-to-toe right now, exchanging strikes.
This has been, of all the feuds in ROH over the last 6 months, this is my choice has been the most vicious feud.
And those headbutts are vicious, and that slap is vicious. These 2 men hate each other, pure and simple. And we're going to have a one-on-one encounter for the world title. Death before Dishonor weekend. A quick history. This is the 4th world title match between Samoa Joe and Homicide. 5:31:03. Do or die. That produced the first hard-hitting classic. St. Paul. Reborn Stage 1 on April 23rd, 2004, the beginning of the Reborn series. Samoa Joe, Homicide, no contest. Homicide snaps and throws a fireball at Samoa Joe, and Homicide has been on a rampage ever since. Homicide got another shot May 22nd in Philadelphia, Generation Next, and came up short.
And now this will be its final chance at Samoa Joe in the world title. This feud goes back to 2002. Too many violent episodes to document right here.
And these are two men who at one time, I don't know if you could say they ever had a friendship, but there was a respect there. There was an honor between the two men.
And that was 2 years ago, Mark Nolte, as these two men have grown to just hold a pure hatred for each other.
Well, nothing breeds hatred more than former respect.
Don't forget, even after that 60-minute world title classic that Samoa Joe had against CM Punk, Homicide came out and stole Samoa Joe's new world title belt that was presented to him by Les Thatcher, and we have not seen that belt since. I don't know what happened to it or what Homicide did to it. And Joe with those headbutts and forearm strikes, you know he's angry about what Homicide did with that belt, and he is unleashing that anger on Homicide right now.
Well, that's not the only thing that Homicide stole. Homicide also stole the thunder from both Samoa Joe and CM Punk, who did have that great 60-minute match. The fans were showing both Joe and Punk a great deal of respect, was giving them a tremendous ovation, and Homicide didn't even have enough respect for his fellow competitors to let them enjoy that moment.
I still can't believe what we saw last week, but now it's time to concentrate on this match as Samoa Joe let Homicide think about that vertical suplex for a while before he brought him crashing down to the mat.
All the blood went to Homicide's head as long as Samoa Joe held him up there. Well, Samoa Joe just methodically dismantling Homicide now.
All the matches between Homicide and Samoa Joe have been brutal, and they're hard-hitting. Strikes, kicks, shots, submission holds. We've seen these guys beat each other senseless, and with the world title on the line for one last time between the two, I think we're going to see them do it again.
Something to point out here is that Samoa Joe has been able to control his emotions here. He's come out somewhat methodically, which is important because you can't blind charge Homicide. You can't let your emotions carry away where you're making a mistake.
Homicide has been running on pure emotion ever since he snapped in St. Paul when he thought he won the world title. And, I mean, he has just destroyed everything in his path, even Allison Danger. I mean, that cop killer was completely unnecessary. And she's lying in the hospital right now as a result.
And there are signs of movement. We still don't have the prognosis, but Allison Danger is moving, and I know we're both glad to hear that.
If we don't get an update tonight, we will get it tomorrow night. As Homicide before jarring with the fans, I mean, everything just gets to Homicide. He's so unpredictable right now.
You brought up a great point a moment ago, Jimmy, that Homicide has been running on pure emotion, and sometimes that can be exhausting. You know, that wears you out both mentally and physically to have your motor revving that high for so long.
And Homicide's been doing it. The demon has definitely risen out of Homicide, and it has been unleashed in the ROH rings. As there's Homicide methodically working on Samoa Joe, going to the eyes and face of Samoa Joe, scratching the back. That's not going to win you the world title, but it stings and it's insulting. And he does it one more time. And you have to wonder, Mark, maybe Homicide had a game plan with all the Rottweilers at ringside, and he definitely is a thinking man wrestler, as much as you might not think that he is, as much as he might act crazy. He is always thinking in there, and he might have to completely adjust his game plan for this match right now. Joe firing back with chops and punches.
Samoa Joe, just so fluid for a man his size. And Samoa Joe, it's one thing to go in there like CM Punk did and try to out-wrestle Samoa Joe, but now you're putting Samoa Joe in a position where not only does he want to beat you, but he wants to hurt you.
Oh, and look at that standoff. Look at the stares of both men at each other. And Homicide, cheap shot right to the eyes.
Boy, Homicide not showing any respect at all, is it?
No respect for anything. Homicide now going to work on the world champion in his 16th month as champion, putting the belt against all comers, making it a world title, defeating everyone in his path from AJ Styles to Christopher Daniels to Paul London, Doug Williams, Moss, Whitmer, Homicide on several occasions. The list goes on, and he's still trying to raise the prestige of that title despite being beaten and bruised and battered after 16 months of title defenses, as he will not only put the belt on the line tonight, But if he gets past Homicide and those brutal headbutts, he'll have to face Colt Cabana in Cabana's own hometown of Chicago tomorrow night.
Well, Samoa Joe realizes what it's like to be a champion. Samoa Joe's not only champion because of his ability, but because of his mental toughness as well. And Samoa Joe may be wrestling with as much confidence as anybody in the sport right now, because he's been in the ring with all the men that you've named, the caliber of opponents. And he's been behind before, he's been in trouble before, and he knows how to get out of trouble.
Oh, those slaps will get you out of trouble in a hurry. And once again, Homicide cuts off Joe by going to the eyes.
That's about the third time that Homicide's done that to him.
Samoa Joe has to start thinking of a strategy to cut Homicide off from doing it, because every time Joe gets anything going, Homicide immediately cuts him off by going to the face and the eyes. And now he's just, oh, look at that. The boots on the chin, on the throat of Samoa Joe.
Well, and the question becomes, if leg guillotine with Samoa Joe hanging on the apron, and now Homicide chasing the photographers off. This is a dangerous man, and nobody wants to be anywhere near the vicinity.
He usually destroys anybody that gets in his vicinity. The guys are smart for running. The photographers save their lives by running.
Boy, Samoa Joe is down. Homicide looking to follow up the advantage. Now, Jimmy, I have a question. At this point in this feud, does Homicide want to just beat Samoa Joe? Will he be happy if he can score a cradle and just take the title? Or does he need more than that? Does he need to injure Joe? Does he need to maim Joe?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mark. I know first and foremost he wants that world title. As you see, Joe's eye is swelling up a little bit. And Joe unleashing. I think he's had enough. And Homicide now bruised and battered, but Joe feeling the effects of all the punishment dished out by Homicide so far. His eyes swelling up a little bit.
Both men taking a moment to catch their breath here. Both men have absorbed punishment. This has been a high-impact match, wrestled at a pretty brisk pace.
Both these men going for the win right on the outset. Homicide not using CM Punk's strategy that we saw in World Title Classic to try to wear Joe down. Homicide just trying to beat and bruise him. But I guess when there's this much hatred and you're facing a ring with somebody that you hate that much, you're not going to be able to control those emotions. You're just going to go for the immediate win, and you're going to try to beat that man up and hurt him.
Which makes me wonder if this isn't working against Homicide. Homicide, despite how crazy he is actually, a very good technical wrestler. But because of the intensity of this feud, these matches have been more brawls than they have been wrestling matches, and that plays into Samoa Joe's strength.
And did you notice the crowd once again getting to Homicide, getting inside his head? And he looked like he was going to kill someone in the crowd right there. And this could be it, the tope con hilo. We've seen it time and time again. No, instead he goes for a baseball slide.
I know Homicide thinks he's the toughest guy in ROH, but I think his best chance of winning the title is to keep Samoa Joe in the ring. I don't think he wants to be on the floor with the big Samoan.
Well, you are susceptible to the ole kick on the floor as well. Joe reversing it. Homicide hard into the steel barrier.
See, Samoa Joe, very good wrestler, but I think Samoa Joe is more at home in a street fight than he is a technical wrestling match.
Samoa Joe can do it all from pure wrestling to a street fight. Same with Homicide.
Agreed, but which one of these guys is more at home in a street fight?
That's really a toss-up, Mark. I mean, we've seen Homicide some vicious matches. That no rope barbed wire match against Steve Corino at War of the Wire. Who will forget that? He's been in some violent and bloody matches.
Oh, sure. Both these guys are tough guys. Both these guys are good brawlers. But I think, as a wrestler, that Homicide has the advantage on the mat. And did you see the big man get up in the air with that standing enziguri?
That's why he's world champion. That's surprising agility. Oh, 2 counts. When you're dealing with kicks and strikes like these men are dishing out on each other, you could easily secure a knockout with one blow. kind of what happened to Homicide on May 22nd at Generation Next. He lost to a brainbuster because he was woozy. He had glassy eyes at that point. He had been knocked pretty much unconscious, and it just took that final one last blow. That's why this match could end with perhaps an elbow or a strike or even an enziguri. Homicide up and over. Takes Joe down on the top.
Homicide quickly off the top rope. Knee to the back of the head.
And that could lead to a knockout right there.
But Homicide, again...
once again, distracted by the crowd here.
Taunting the crowd when he should be wrestling.
Oh, look at that sign of disrespect to the whole crowd. Is he going to pull something? I thought he might have been pulling a weapon out of his shorts.
Let's hope he keeps everything in those shorts.
And there's a 2 count right there. Homicide now, you
know
notice.
what? I think he does have something out of those tights. He may have a rope or something out of the tights.
And he is giving the finger to the crowd right now as Homicide is deliberately trying to slow down the pace. He's tried to wear down Joe before by going to the face, and now he's trying to wear him down with that vice-like grip around with his legs around the head of Samoa Joe.
Now this is the smart move. First of all, can you win the match outside the ring?
No way, Mark. No
so
way.
Homicide is better off keeping Samoa Joe in the ring. Second, I like that head scissors he was using. Now Samoa Joe, Homicide led him up to that standing base, and that's where Samoa Joe's the most dangerous.
Homicide, though, cut him off, going to the eye once again, but Joe sweeping the legs out from Homicide has an advantage. Homicide sends him to the floor.
I think Samoa Joe's better on his feet than Homicide.
Oh, hold on, Homicide signaling for that tope con hilo. Now we're going to see it. One of the most beautiful moves in this sport. I'll give him credit there. Homicide taunts the crowd but pays the price.
Enziguri from the floor to the second rope? You gotta be kidding me.
Samoa Joe can fly. He is so agile for a big man. And it's ole time. Oh, drop toe hold. Joe goes into the chair. Homicide blocking the ole kick.
Homicide needs to get Samoa Joe back in the ring, but I think he wants to apply punishment on the outside first.
Oh, and he is just taunting Joe in the crowd now, mocking the ole kick. Oh, I really hate this new Homicide. This is just unnecessary. Homicide once again paying the price for mocking the crowd and Samoa Joe.
Paying the price for showboating when he should have been wrestling. And I hate to keep going on and on about the next move being more spectacular than the last one, but that suplex by Samoa Joe out of nowhere, so quick, the way he snapped that off.
And now Homicide's going to pay the price. It's ole time. And he almost takes Homicide's face off with that. I wouldn't be surprised if that busted Homicide open.
You need to keep the match in the ring if you're the challenger. Particularly when Samoa Joe is so comfortable outside the ring and can generate so much offense outside the ring. We've seen an enziguri, we've seen a belly-to-belly with the release, and now we're seeing the ole kick. And plus, let's put some boots to Homicide for good measure.
Homicide, he was underneath that steel barricade. That is just sheet metal there. That'll cut you too.
And it should be pointed out, it was the Rottweilers that took that sign off the guardrail before the match started. So that's kind of come back to bite Homicide here.
Look at Samoa Joe, though. He's a little slow to follow up. Perhaps he is really beginning to feel the effects of this brutal match. Homicide, though, prone on the mat. You think that Samoa Joe would want to follow up here, as his eyes are definitely bothering him. Samoa Joe keeps going back to those eyes, and now he rolls in to be choked out by Homicide.
Just drops right into that choke. Homicide still feeling the effects of that suplex on the floor, favoring his back.
And Mark Nolte, we're seeing it again. Look at this crowd. Everyone is on their feet for this world title match. What an atmosphere here in Milwaukee. as Homicide gets landed with that sidewalk slam. Cover!
Samoa Joe, just cat-like quickness for a man that size. So Samoa Joe, again, showing some effects of the punishment that he took earlier.
And look at the cheek of Samoa Joe. It is discolored, swelling up a little bit. The whole side of Samoa Joe's face is swelling up a little bit. Great shot there by the cameraman a couple of seconds ago. There's a reversal by Homicide. Joe sends him up and over. Once again, Homicide, dirty tactics, throw it across the top rope. And he tries that knee again, but Joe avoids it. Nails him, cover!
Again, every time Homicide is charged at Joe, it seems like, or a lot of the times anyway, Samoa Joe's had the answer. Whether it's with the belly-to-belly with the release or here with the power slam, catching Homicide on the run. Just brutal.
And one of those kicks could end it. I mean,
Homicide trying to cover up.
Anything could knock out either of these participants after all the blows and strikes and everything they've taken in this match.
Homicide trying to cut off the distance. Now grabs the leg, but Samoa Joe hooks him, powerbomb.
Just a two. Beautifully done.
Oh, I thought he had him.
So did this crowd. Look how many people raising their hands, showing two in the crowd. Everyone's still on their feet. They're not sitting down. It's electric in this building. ROH always makes an impact when it debuts in a new market, and we're doing it right now in Milwaukee.
World title on the line. The fans know the stakes for this match. They know that every move can be a win or lose situation.
Homicide's come so close to being world champion before. Can he finally do it in his last opportunity? Will the wear and tear of this long title reign finally get to Joe?
Homicide has come so close to beating Samoa Joe in the past.
Blockbuster.
Neck breaker by Homicide. Now Homicide wants to pick the big man up.
Al driver.
Didn't get all of it. And Homicide's back, which was suplexed on the floor, kept him from getting Samoa Joe all the way up.
And a 2 count. It doesn't get any better than this.
The one time you don't want to fail is the last time you try. Homicide, the stakes so high for this match.
This is what pro wrestling is all about. Pro wrestling is a sport. And Samoa Joe and Homicide are proving it with the richest prize in ROH on the line. There's a lariat. Joe staggered. Another one.
Homicide needs to quit charging after Joe when Joe's got the stable base.
Joe is fired up. Oh, the third one takes him down. Cover.
Boy, that referee's hand was almost down for that 3 count.
That was 2 9/10.
Both men have traded ultra close pinfall attempts here.
Homicide needs to follow up. He cannot let Joe regain his composure. He's taking off the elbow pad. He's signaling for the big lariat. He's been spanking Bryan Danielson with this. Joe blocked it. Oh, Joe absolutely peppering him. He's going for the choke. Avoids the low blow. Goldberg clutch suplex. Cover.
And once again, Homicide, knowing that this is his last opportunity at the title, figures a way to roll that shoulder. Didn't really kick out, Jimmy. Just managed to roll the shoulder. But it was enough to break up that pinfall attempt.
Homicide has to be going on pure instinct on this point. This guy, he's driven to be world champion. That's the only thing that's keeping him from falling to Samoa Joe at this point. Joe now taking him up. Homicide once again going to the eyes. Perhaps a DDT. Oh, a big slap. Joe's got him hooked. It's a muscle buster. He's got him hooked. Nails it. Cover.
No way.
Oh, my God, Mark.
No way.
How is Homicide kicking out of the muscle buster? No one's kicked out of the muscle buster.
You're not the only one asking that question. Samoa Joe, I promise you, is in the ring, and that exact same wording is going through his mind.
Oh my God. What's it going to take?
I don't think Homicide knows where he is.
He is out of, he has to be out on his feet. He is. He's on pure instinct right now. Joe scoops him up. Island driver. It's all over.
Did the referee say 2?
That was a 2. I can't believe it. Neither can Joe. And look at Joe. He's going nuts. He's got the choke cinched in. He's got it cinched in. There is no place for Homicide to go. Homicide's not tapping. That's once. That's twice, though. Third time the arm drops. Hanson making sure.